the start of the last episode, I tried to do a stupid Danganronpa Monokuma Theater opening, but then when I was listening to it, I realized how awful it was, so I'm not even gonna try to do anything like that now. So
Good.
Alright. I liked it in the moment, though.
I mean, I guess I could have done a lot better, but I mean, I did what I could within writing something in 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
Well, maybe write something in more than 5 minutes.
I was busy. I'm sorry. I had things I had to do. I don't even remember what those things were because it was so long ago. But I certainly had a reason as to why I waited till the last minute to write it. I just don't remember. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Game Library.
Good start, good start.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this is episode 6, right? I'm just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This be episode 6.
It's been a while. Sorry about that.
Maybe, I would say maybe we shouldn't choose, all four of us, a super long game, but, the game we're suggesting at the end of this episode.
I mean, no, because I get to pick something. It's not you yet, Dream.
Oh!
Yeah,
well,
you
that
bitch lasagna. Get out of here.
Okay, well, that just goes to show how little I remember of the last episode.
Yeah, because the
You could almost say that Dream has a hole in his brain.
a hole in his
Yeah.
brain. Is your name Cuphead?
My name may or may
So
not be.
this is going to be the name of this episode. I was wondering what it
I mean,
I'm
it had to
glad
be
you
something.
caught on.
It had to be
Alright.
something. I mean, I have a feeling that we'll get a couple monkey brain mentionings too.
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
Oh
yet.
yeah, hey, I am Austin or Patronix, whichever you prefer, because that's my patented intro now. Hey, I do things on the internet. What are you guys? Who? How? What? Where? When?
Hi.
Why?
Hi, I'm Zanza. I'm probably the Devil Arcana.
Who goes next? Sylvia. Sylvia, who
I'll
are you?
flip
Try
a
my
coin if
hardest
you guys
and
don't do
fail.
it.
You know my name.
What about you, last person?
Hi.
Wow,
I have a hole in my brain, and my name is Dreamhead.
you guys are real good at we're really good at keeping this momentum going. I guess I'll go into maximum host mode. Anyway, so if you're new here to Game Library, what we do here is in the first half-ish of what's supposed to be the first half, but usually ends up being the first quarter of the podcast, is we talk about relatively recent gaming news or stuff that interests us or whatever we feel like talking about. Usually that just relates to video games. And then the second half, we treat it sort of like a book club where we talk about a game that was selected the previous week and we sort of give our thoughts on it, give it ratings, and then at the end of the podcast, suggest the next thing. This week, I get to suggest a thing, so that's going to be fun. Last week, Sylvia suggested a thing, which we'll get to later. But seeing as how it's been so long since we did the last episode, because the game that was selected was a very long one, there's been an astronomical amount of things that have happened in between the two things. So I don't think we'll be able to cover everything, but we've gotten the main things that are either important and or we actually want to talk about. So...
and definitely not what me and Sylvia are holding everyone else at gunpoint to talk about.
yeah, but I mean, if we want to transition, should we start with that then?
Steven Hillenberg died.
Why, Dream?
I mean,
Now, let's talk about everything chronologically since Deltarune was announced right after the last episode.
All right, so Deltarune, that's a thing. We're going to refrain from as many Sans jokes as possible, I hope. But
Yeah, you know how many Sans jokes I'm gonna refrain? I'm not gonna make a single one this episode.
not a single. There will be no Sans jokes this episode from this point onward. We swear it. There will be.
Yeah.
Library.
Dream, swear it.
Swear
it.
right now.
I mean, I already made one, so.
You
Well, swear
better
that there will
not
be
ask
no
me to
more.
swear.
Well, we know you won't do it already,
For
Sylvia.
for this podcast. I mean, we're never gonna stop in this.
I would swear, but I don't make promises I can't.
Anyways, if that's the case, so for the uninformed, Deltarune is basically Toby Fox, creator of Undertale. He was on Twitter and he's like, "Hey guys, come back here in 24 hours for special thingy mahoozit." Or
Kowalski analysis.
yeah, Kowalski analysis, call the Grinch. Anyway, then he sort of dropped a demo of what would be the first chapter of what is essentially a sequel-ish to Undertale, an alternate universe kind of a deal. Point is, it's a follow-up to Undertale in some sort of fashion.
Yeah,
And
it's a spiritual successor.
Yeah, spiritual successor, except actually also directly tied to it. And it's called Deltarune, which is an anagram of it, which is the theme of the game, because there's a lot of anagrams. And what'd you guys think of Deltarune?
Haven't
really
played
good.
it yet.
Like,
I'm trying to get around to it.
comparing it to Undertale, Deltarune's Chapter 1 feels more like a finished game than any point of Undertale ever did. And honestly, I'm going
How?
into it.
How
like,
to tick off a fandom?
I mean,
wow.
compare the two battle systems and battle screens themselves between the two games.
I mean, you say that, but just because Deltarune is more complicated than Undertale doesn't mean it's any more or less of a finished product.
I wouldn't.
Overall.
Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, Undertale's definitely a finished product. I'm sorry, yeah, Undertale and Deltarune isn't, but like, Deltarune felt more like a game to me than whereas Undertale felt more like an experience, like a linear story that I had some input over.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that per se, but the thing is what you can say about Deltarune comparatively to Undertale is that probably with a lot of that money that Toby Fox got from Undertale, really put some polish into it and made Deltarune look really good, which is
I mean,
yeah,
you say that, but like, both of them, like, Undertale was mostly made by him, and Deltarune was also mostly made by him alone, so he didn't actually get much of a boost. Just because the funding paid for his housing, it didn't really change much. And apparently, Deltarune was in kind of like a development hell, and that's why he's saying that, from what he understands, to complete like the entire game the way he wants to, it might take more than 10 years alone.
Yeah.
and he's also said that he does not want to work on a project more than 5, so Deltarune might not ever be finished. But
Yeah, it might not happen unless he gets like a team.
honestly, I went into Deltarune not expecting to be able to like it after the entire internet ruined the entirety of Undertale for me like it did.
Sam.
That's-
Sam, you already broke your score.
Fuck!
Zelda.
I didn't do
But,
it. I didn't do it. I haven't done it yet.
I'm not surprised.
like-
I'm just disappointed.
I'm sorry, I can't stop myself.
I didn't feel like I was
You
going to
may
be
have-
able to experience what it wanted me to experience because of that. But I'm happy to say, after playing Deltarune, it kicked me on my ass the same way Undertale did when I played it day one upon release.
For me, I would say I kind of agree, but like on the whole idea of like the linear story versus experience, I wouldn't say either. I don't feel either of them are really quote unquote experience. Like, Dear Esther. Now that's an experience, but but because like in comparison, Deltarune is a super linear game.
Yeah.
Like Undertale, not only does it have branching paths, but there's like a bunch of really weird small things where if you save and like alter your save file and like go back, there's different dialogue. So I feel like Deltarune is way more of like a linear experience in that way.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's more like it's more polished because Undertale's whole thing was because of its nature, it couldn't really just take characters and give them solid arcs. And the combat system had to be super broad and unpolished. And
I think what I was more so trying to say was like Undertale felt more like an actual RPG Maker game, whereas Deltarune felt more like a game that I would go to a store to buy.
Yeah, I can totally see
Yeah, I
that.
feel that. And I mean, obviously, we've only seen the first chapter of Deltarune, and this could just be a thing because Undertale is not even close to the first game that's ever done this. But like Undertale, I feel definitely like really shot the trend really high up. Where Undertale's the whole game where it's like why do we play video games?
Imagine gods will be watching and make
What
it.
is a video game?
Yeah, what is a
Nothing but
video game?
miserable
You're a
little pile
player.
of secrets.
You're a player. You killed people. That's bad. You're gonna go back and do like nothing ever happened. That's bad. We know it's a game. It's meta, and it's by far not the first game that's ever done it. But Undertale really sort of skyrocketed that higher than it ever had been before because of its nature and everything. And the one thing about Deltarune is that I was happy I was able to enjoy it without that ever being a thing. And the closest it got to even being like, we're getting back into territory where I don't care about it anymore, is like the ending, which in and of itself is a cool like thing, but also it's like, we're going back to Undertale. And it's,
well, like, yeah, I wouldn't say meta stuff is bad,
Yeah,
but
no.
like,
It's,
in cases like gods will be watching, it can definitely be mega obnoxious.
Yeah, and again, I like inherently it's not bad. I'm just kind of sick of seeing it because it's the same kind of a message every time, and it's this whole thing, and I mean, again, it's not inherently bad. I'm just sort of sick of seeing it overall, and I'm just happy that Deltarune kind of refrained from doing that, and at the end, it didn't even do it. It just sort of connected to Undertale, which inherently is like, you know. And
Like,
there's,
I think my favorite thing to come out of the internet's reaction to Deltarune, though, is the one comic that's basically Sans' experience when you meet him in the game, which is just, you got new town, new people, better make some friends, and then just Chris comes up and it's like, Sans, how are you doing, my heinous bastard? You would not believe the day I have, but you've never met Sans before, so he's just standing there like, who the fuck is this kid?
yeah.
You know what? My favorite thing to come out of Deltarune, it's the thing where that one Twitch streamer, Ninja or whatever, and it's like he's walking to the right, and then he sees him, and he just goes, Set!
Yeah, I love
his whole body like fucking skyrockets to the ceiling.
Yeah. When
I love the
with all of his power.
Yeah.
I love the compilation of like the 50 different Twitch streamers playing the game, and when they see Sans, it's like the first letter of his names while they're going into like Super Saiyan 26 or whatever, yelling, and then it just cuts off.
I know when I first saw Sans in Deltarune, like I saw him and my fight or flight instinct kicked in. I ran to the opposite end of the map.
Hey, remember when the Sans dialogue's like, hey, are you busy tomorrow? And it just so happened that...
Yeah, and the Smash Direct was the next day.
And the fact that Toriel talks about Super Smash Brothers vaguely, it's like,
this is
Ness Echo Fighter?
Yeah.
If only.
There's like, come back in 24 hours. And then fucking... and then fucking all this Smash shit. Anyway, but with Deltarune, anyways, overall, I definitely. What?
Okay, never mind.
No, what were you saying, Sylvia?
If we wanted to transition to the topic at hand,
I wanted to save the Smash stuff for last. Mainly because it's like a lot, as well as I have a plan. But anyways.
Oh no, a secret plan that'll help us out later.
Exactly. And so, when it comes to Deltarune, there's a lot of stuff I really enjoyed playing about it. Just sort of how Undertale was before everything was corrupted about it. It has really, like, you know, fun characters. Rousey's precious. Susie's pretty alright. Lancer's amazing. And, you know, they have some, you know, fun, witty dialogue, which if you like the dialogue in Undertale, then you'll like this. And also, they say swears now.
Ooh, yeah. I will say that one thing I was kind of worried about is kind of the opposite of what you were saying, Austin. Like, I feel like a lot of the meta stuff is kind of like what defines Undertale as being interesting, because otherwise it's like a kind of okay story, but it's like eh. And I understand that, like, they've significantly improved the combat. Like, there's an actual, like, moves and, like, gear that has its, like, more interesting effects. And it's more than just, you just have to hit the act button until you find a way out of every fight. And there's grazing and, like, a special meter you fill and everything.
Yeah.
And, like, that's okay. But even then, I feel like without the meta stuff that kind of made Undertale noticeable amongst the everything else, I'm really curious how it's gonna be extended to be interesting, because at the end there's that real spooky scene, and I think that could be like something interesting. But I feel like
that and the entire thing leading up to its release was ghastly.
Well, I haven't actually looked into that stuff because
Neither have
I hate
I.
theories. I hate
Well,
theories.
the
I have a
entire-
burning
the
hatred
entire
for Matt
Twitter,
Pat and
like-
everything he stands for.
The entire Twitter leading up to its release on it was spoken in wingdings. The entire site that you download on it, half of it is in English, the other is in wingdings. You speak to Gaster at the beginning, and you do more sampling of Earthbound music, which was already sampling from an actual band's music. So Gaster's a real big theme for Deltarune.
Yay. Perfect. Yeah, no, but on that, like again, I'm not saying that the meta stuff is
Stop
bad.
it.
I'm just stop that. Anyway, I'm not saying that the meta stuff is bad inherently. I just again, I'm just at this point, it's like okay, I get it. Video games, it's a medium. We're playing video games. Why do we play video games? Murdering people ain't good. Why? You can't just press the reset button on life. And I mean, I get it. Like, I know. And I know Undertale.
Yes, we understand that there is no reset button on life. We've lived it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there is a reset button for feelings.
I feel like Mr. Rossetti would fit in with Undertale's theme very well.
He would.
Like, instead of Flowey yelling at you every time you reset because you killed someone, just have Mr. Rossetti.
Oh,
there
that's
and
awful.
kick at you.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
That
great.
would be. Yeah.
But yeah.
I like how much of a divide between us all there is. I say that's awful. You guys say that would be great. That'd be fantastic.
Well, no, you see, there's only one difference. The thing is, we all realize it's awful, but you just say, yeah, that's bad. But we say, that's terrible, which is exactly why it must happen.
Exactly. And as one last note with Deltarune, I mean, obvious is obvious, but music's good. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Special shout-outs to the Field of Hopes and Dreams.
Special shout-outs from me for Rude Buster, which speaks to my... I don't know what it is about it, but it speaks to me.
Special shout-outs to Zanza's for the Zanza character. That's a super secret hidden boss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you talking? Well,
Yeah, Zanza's in the game.
Last lesson is in
Chaos.
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 Oh, right, Chaos.
Yeah, Zanza, you're in the game, and your battle theme's amazing.
Right, I forgot. I am in the game.
Special shout outs to Lancer's song on his MP3 player. And,
Special shout-outs to
to be
Victor
honest-
Valentine.
I was gonna say that next.
Yeah.
There's one last thing with Deltarune that I want to mention. Rules card is the best thing ever, and if you watch our Twitch streams for like tabletop stuff, he's literally just my character, Victor Valentine, and so it's the greatest thing ever because whenever we were playing Deltarune, I just read his lines in Victor's voice, and it made it so much better.
I remember when I first, I was ahead of you and Matthew, and when I got to that character, I was like, oh no, it's him! And it initiated my fight or flight response.
I feel so bad for Sylvia.
Yeah.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
What do you think about Victor Valentine being in a video game?
I know, right?
So I'm going to do the right thing. For context, for those of you who do not know who Victor Valentine is, he started off as someone who was, supposed to be a cool magician guy. He was supposed to be...
Yeah, sure. Cool.
Yeah. He... Anime campaign, the system we use, we base it around one word, and the word he got was glam, and he could get glamour points if he did tricks well.
Yeah.
But if he failed, he lost
Did
them.
tricks well.
Yeah.
And if he failed rolls, he lost glamour points, and if he didn't have any to lose, he took emotional damage from his tears.
Yeah.
His first appearance was just him sucking, rolling a 20 when rolls were reversed. It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything successful at all the entire match.
No. He did one.
Oh, no.
He did one thing. When he harnessed the power of soup and baseball, he home run Weldon Coombs out of the arena, and that was it. And he turned Benny into a tiger.
He also turned Benny into a tiger.
He turned Benny
Never
into
forget
a
the tiger part.
But you could say, after his first appearance, his character suffered a death by glamour.
This is why I hate this. This is why I hate being in this chat room.
Point is, though, is that outside of shameless plug to my Twitch channel, Rules card is a lot like that boy, and rules because of that, rules card is automatically the greatest character in all of the Deltarune Undertale extended universe. So
All of fiction, you might even
all
say.
of fiction, yes.
No, that's
Yeah. No, what about me?
Ah, shit, you're right.
I am also in this game.
You bring up a good point.
Deltarune has a lot of good characters. Let's move on.
Do we have anything else to mention about Deltarune, or are we done with it?
All I'll say is that it's like more of a game, but I think it's probably less unique, and I'm really wondering how Toby's gonna make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Cause it's like a good base, but if like it's just what the demo was for like all the chapters, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah, I get you with that. I guess we'll go. I don't have a transition for this, so I guess we'll just.
No more heroes.
Well, okay. So basically, for the uninformed, Suda51 and Grasshopper Inc. You know, No More Heroes, my series that I love very much. So.
No More Heroes is to you what Dot Hack is.
Yeah. But anyway, I've talked about No More Heroes before, and it's a very fun, series, at least in my opinion. And there's been the game in development, Travis Strikes Again. It's been in development for a while now. And it is coming out this January, or this upcoming January. And I mean, that's one thing for it, for sure. But outside of that, recently we've gotten some more, we've gotten to see some more gameplay of it with, the various worlds that you can go in. There's, a motorcycle-based area. There's an area where you're running through, a suburban kind of a place. But outside of the game, coming out pretty soon, that's not, the main thing that I really wanted to mention. But with No More Heroes, there was recently an interview when all of this Travis Strikes Again gameplay was dropped. There's an interview with Suda51, the creator of No More Heroes, who he was talking about, Travis Strikes Again and how it relates to, a potential, hey, No More Heroes 3. And essentially, they're I forget the exact wording, but essentially he was doing that, if Travis Strikes Again is successful, then hey, I actually really want to make a No More Heroes 3. And according to this interview anyways, it seems like he has a basic plot outline already kind of drafted, and a lot of the mechanics from Travis Strikes Again will be brought into No More Heroes 3. So they're using Travis Strikes Again as the bridge between 2 and 3, because 3 would go back to the more traditional gameplay style of No More Heroes, but it would implement certain mechanics from Travis Strikes Again. So it's a whole interesting thing. And when describing the types of people Travis would be going up against, well, just in general, he said it'd be bloodier and, more intense than ever. But he specifically said that the enemies would be on, quote, Thanos level. So...
Okay,
Hold up.
originally what you were saying was sending a lot of red flags, but now I want to see this. I want to see him go against
No More
Komida.
Heroes. No More Heroes cross Undertale. Hey, Travis, look at me. Bitch.
But the best part about this whole thing is No More Heroes 3 was kind of soft announced. It's super weird.
Yeah, especially because they gave such a dramatic announcement to this weird spin-off game for Travis Strikes Again, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll probably do a No More Heroes 3." What?
Maybe if I do a No More Heroes 3, Sakurai Senpai will put my character in Smash.
Well, no, you want to know the funniest thing about that? In that same interview, after he was talking about why he wanted to do, do No More Heroes 3, outside of the, hey, I want to continue the series, he specifically said that he wanted Travis to become a more prominent part of video game history, and gee, I wonder why he wants that.
I wonder why.
I wonder why he wants that to be a thing.
Poor boy.
Poor Suda.
He wants
Imagine
Travis
making
so bad.
4 video games just to get your OC into your senpai's game.
I know, right? It's so good. I love it. It's so, on one hand, it's
on one hand, I want Travis and Smash from the little of No More Heroes they've played. But on the other hand, I want to watch more of this shit show, so I don't want him in.
Yeah. Travis, Travis is like my most wanted character in Smash at this point, and he has been for a while. But like, it's this weird saga of Suda51 wanting him in so badly, but it just hasn't happened yet. And I just find it hilarious.
I like to imagine Sakurai continues to get letters over and over and over again, and he has a stack for Suda51's Travis touchdown letters.
He adds it to the
51.
pile as Sakurai strokes his cat.
I just feel
As he
bad.
throws a copy of No More Heroes 2 into the fireplace to get the
He
fire.
burns one. He has the cat eat it.
Yeah, the one thing for Travis Strikes Again that's worrying me, though, is that since it's releasing in January, I hope it doesn't get completely destroyed by Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts. Oh, it will.
I know it will, but I hope that it doesn't.
Like, it'll have, like, a couple weeks of, like, time in the spotlight, but as soon as the 29th hits, every video game will become void until the next, like, Red Dead or Kingdom Hearts 3 releases. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be all you're going to be seeing on social media.
Yeah, and actually on that,
So, like,
on the note
Rip
of,
Travis Strikes Again.
yeah, on the note of Travis Strikes Again and its sales figures dictating 3 as well, I know in that same interview, I'm pretty sure there was a blurb about Suda saying that he might want to make a port of 1 and 2 for the Switch. So
Good.
Hey.
Yeah. Also, like, on the one hand, I know on this podcast before I've been like an advocate for vote for your wallets. If you want more of something, pay for it, and if you want less of something, don't. But on the other hand, I really don't want to pay for for Travis Strikes Again, but I really want No More Heroes 3.
for me anyway, because of the fact that like from the very beginning, it's like, hey, this isn't No More Heroes 3, this is a spin-off thing. It doesn't make me mad because like, hey, it's a spin-off, so like no reason to expect the same No More Heroes gameplay. So I've been interested since the beginning, but like it's not like I don't want to pay for Travis Strikes Again because I want the game, but now I more so want it because it could lead to 3.
Well, I hope you're holding your breath because we might not get 3 because, again, soon as the 29th hits.
Yeah, it was really funny too because he was Suda51 made a joke about like, you know, it was originally going to be released in December, but we didn't want to hurt Smash Ultimate's sales, so we pushed it back to January. And now Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be the exact same fucking thing. And
Yeah.
Aww.
Honestly, if I was him, I would hold releasing the game until, like, news coverage of Kingdom Hearts 3 dies down.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you know,
Because otherwise people are going to be spending and saving all of their money for Kingdom Hearts 3 exclusively.
yeah, but you know, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, at least they weren't.
I hope we get a No More
yeah,
Heroes 3.
At least,
but, like,
at least they aren't Namco Bandai who decided to release Katamari Damacy reroll on the same day as Smash
I
Ultimate.
know, and I want Katamari to be a separate series. I want it to do well, but Bandai Namco wants to strangle it in its crib.
Yeah, it seems like Katamari seems to be the chibi robo of Namco.
It's true, but you shouldn't say it.
Because they're
We
like,
were all thinking it.
let's release it on the same day as Smash Ultimate. That'll go well. You know.
The bastards had the goal to put the Prince in Pac-Man spawns too. Like, fuck off, Namco.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I
And
guess yeah. Oh yeah, you go.
Fuck, I forgot. Never mind.
Oh, I was just gonna say as one last thing for the No More Heroes stuff, just in general, because there's not too much else to talk about it. I believe this was now. Don't quote me on this because I saw a thing on it, but I haven't looked too deep into it. But just to tie it into things that have been on Game Library before, I believe at one point I saw this like one thing about like Suda51 saying that he wanted like either a summon or a boss of Monokuma in Travis Strikes Again.
Oh no.
No.
And Kodaka said that he'd be up for it reportedly, but they'd have to get permission from Spike Chunsoft.
Yeah, because it doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe Sakura's
Listen,
Revenge turned into Travis Strikes Again.
Oh my god!
If he is a boss, I'm definitely buying Travis Strikes Again so I can finally fucking kill Zanza.
Oh god.
Release
Yeah.
all my raid.
Also, it makes
Hey,
me.
I mean, I would try to kill Zanza too.
Also, it makes me really happy because I haven't. I've only watched a little bit of the gameplay, just mainly because I'm like, hey, I don't want to. I just want to experience the game for what it is when it comes out, and I'm not going to look up too much gameplay of Travis Strikes Again. But I'm pretty sure because there was this whole thing when the first trailer of Travis Strikes Again came out. They didn't have Robin Atkin Downs voicing Travis in that trailer. And a lot of people, including me, were very upset about that. But at least from the small grunting that I've heard from Travis, it sounds like they got him back. But
Good.
They better. Oh, right, I remember what I was gonna say. Dream, I understand that, like, for everyone who's played the Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts 3 is, like, a big historical moment in video games, because it's, like, the last
I've been
Guardian.
waiting for it for 14 years. Kingdom Hearts 2 released 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's like things like The Last Guardian, where, like, they take actually fucking forever, and it's like a legend. But for
Can't
me
wait for
and my
Kingdom Hearts Infinity War.
yeah, for me and my circles, I go in, and, like, for basically everyone who didn't grow up with the games, I don't think it's a very well-loved series as much as...
Well, you would be wrong.
Well, again, that's because you're surrounded with people who, like, grew up with the series
Not
and really like it.
even.
But, like,
Not
everywhere
even.
I've checked, everyone's thinking it's gonna be, like, really stupid.
Well, yes, the story of Kingdom Hearts is stupid.
Yeah, but, like...
They killed Donald Duck today in the most recent trailer. Kingdom Hearts' story is fucking stupid, dude. But you bet your ass it is a powerhouse of gaming history. It is a absolute big beef when it comes to video game series.
You
I
say
remember
that,
when
but everyone said that about The Last Guardian, and it sold like garbage.
well, the thing is that The Last Guardian's a standalone.
Well, The Last
game,
Guardian was a bad game.
I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, most people think Kingdom Hearts is a bad game, except, like, the diehard fans like you and Austin.
Oh
and
no no
kind
no
of
no
me.
no 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 no! Like even of the people that I know hate the series, the gameplay is the one thing that they'll compliment.
Weird, because most of the people I know think that it's, like, super shallow.
I mean,
Oh no! Everyone that I've ever met or seen online that hates the series, all will agree the gameplay is good. It's like the one thing Kingdom Hearts is universally praised for.
Huh.
Unless you're Chain of Memories. Unless you're one of the spin-offs, like Chain of Memories or Recoded, then the gameplay's awful because it's not Kingdom Hearts game.
I feel like it largely depends on the circles you're going in, and I'm not saying it's gonna sell bad because it probably won't. But, like, I'm just saying,
Anybody, when Kingdom Hearts 3 was first announced and, like, the first two trailers dropped, every time one of the announcements went live, did you look at Twitter? All of the trending tags were Kingdom Hearts related.
to be fair, that happens with, like, a lot of big games, but at the same time,
yeah. I mean, again, it happens, like, with literally every game that comes. Also, I don't have a Twitter, so
yeah.
yeah.
On a
I don't know.
semi-related note, maybe I have to play the first Kingdom Hearts game again, because you know when I played the first Kingdom Hearts game when I was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I didn't know what was happening.
That's a
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I can't wait for Austin to get Kingdom Hearts 3 and not realize what the hell anything's going on or means, and then gets mad because he gets spoiled for the rest of the series.
Yeah, no, again, for basically how I've started viewing it, because I was just going to say this and I didn't want to start a whole rant on it, but one thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 is because of how fucking stupid and convoluted the story is at points, like, the Kingdom Hearts game the only one that I have completely played through has been 2, because it's the game that introduced me to Kingdom Hearts, because some of my friends at the time were like, hey, this is a fun game. I'm like, oh yeah, I agree, it's really fun. And I love Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's one of my favorite games, and it's really fun to play. But, like, I played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I mean, you can understand Kingdom Hearts 2 for the most part, even without playing the other ones, just through context stuff. Yeah. And I get the idea that with Kingdom Hearts 3, it's about all these spin-off bullshit things and all that. And I have the Kingdom Hearts collection, and I plan on playing them eventually, but I've just been busy. And at this point, I'm just planning on looking up summaries of the plot, because it's too much for me at this point. And Kingdom Hearts 3, in terms of gameplay, looks like, hey, this is what I actually want out of the Kingdom Hearts games, so I'm just gonna play that one.
Yeah. Like, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom 2. of all of the spin-offs are like the only games that actually has Kingdom Hearts gameplay, ironically enough, whereas the rest of the spin-offs try to do something different. And hey, guess what? Those are the only spin-off games and Kingdom Hearts games people like gameplay-wise. But like every spin-off, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 has absolutely no plot regarding to the overall story at all. Meanwhile, every spin-off has like so much of the overall plot for the series. It's ridiculous.
Which is why I'm planning on just looking up a summary instead.
Yeah,
because-
honestly, look up a summary and read up the entire story prior to Kingdom Hearts. Like, honestly, play Dream Drop Distance, because after every story important cutscene, they give you a glossary that is a quick summary of all of the important plot details of every Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Plus, you get to play. Plus, Dream Drop Distance is a lot of fun. So I'd say before January 29th, just play Dream Drop Distance and read all the summaries.
Yeah, I mean, again, because again, for me, a lot of the appeal of Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was playing it was just its own self-contained thing, because I thought that the gameplay was pretty fun, and even without knowing any sort of lore from anything before or any whatever, I was able to enjoy it as its own self-contained thing. It was fucking stupid, but I was able to enjoy it. Just like as its own thing, and whatever. And so I'm just, if it's really gonna be that necessary to know all of the Xehanort shit,
It is.
Then
It's stupid, but it is.
Well, then I'm just gonna look it up, because at this point it's too much.
Like, people who are expecting to go into Kingdom Hearts 3 without playing any of the spin-offs and only 1 and 2, and expecting to understand anything other than the character, like, other than Sora's name and the Disney characters' names, are going to be in for a rude awakening, because there will be nothing there they understand.
So do we want to move on?
That's what I
Yeah,
was
let's move
thinking.
on.
Yeah. Well, I guess we also talked about Kingdom Hearts now.
Yeah.
Neat.
Donald fucking died.
Bye,
Donald
Donald.
did die.
So,
Alright, yeah. So,
what now?
next I think we should do Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, a bit of Siege.
Uh-huh. So recently, Rainbow Six Siege, which is a multiplayer game, and it's amazing, and I think it's the best multiplayer game that currently exists, and you should all play it. But
I mean, you say that, but Smash.
Cool.
fine, fucking multiplayer, like, you know what I mean.
Quick
Smash
thing
is
about
different. Fighting games are a different category.
okay, Rainbow Six Siege. Small rundown. One person defends an object. They're terrorists or something, and the other
What?
people.
No, it's not one person.
A team
fine.
protects an object.
Team of
and
five.
tries to invade
Both
and
sides.
take it under siege.
Here, I'll describe it.
It's like tactics and stuff. It's fun.
I'll describe it as it's like Overwatch meets Metal Gear meets a survival horror game, and it's multiplayer and it's terrifying. But,
Meets a survival horror game.
yeah, I mean basically. But more like a psychological horror game now that I think about it. But the point is, recently it was on like a massive like 70-80% sale, and so these two fuckos got it. And me and Sylvia are longtime players of the game, but Austin and Dream just got the game recently, and we played for a few hours. So what do you think so far? I want to hear you guys' opinion.
Well,
I
first,
shot the hostage, killed him, and then got banned for 30 minutes.
yeah. So
That sounds like a personal problem. Well, you still played a little after that.
here's the thing for me. If it's not Overwatch, I have very little first-person shooter experience. Especially,
It's literally the opposite of your fighting game experiences.
exactly. Like I've played fighting games for a very long amount of time, but first-person shooters, if it's not Overwatch, I've barely played like anything. Especially in this setting where it's like, hey, you better do good, otherwise your teammates will get mad at you, which makes me feel bad.
Okay,
but-
you say that, but I think one of the strengths of Siege is the fact that like it's a lot less team dependent and much more based on like your individual skill.
But even still, like, take it from me, a person who played the game for 30 minutes and is absolute ass. But I mean, it was fun to fuck around with. I'm sure, like, once you get more familiar with how it is and like you actually start playing the game well, there's like a whole new like like well of things that come up, and it becomes even more fun, and it's this whole immersive experience. But for someone who's played like maybe 2 to 3 hours of it with these guys for a bit, just like fucking around and like trying to like, hey, this is how you fire a gun, right? Grenade dropped on the ground, whoops. And just doing stupid shit and being a monkey. It was fun. I enjoyed the time I had. It's not typically the type of game that I play, so there's that. I'm not sure how often I'd really play it outside of with these guys here, just like, playing it, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm sure I can definitely see why people like it, and I can see the depth within it, but I just haven't tapped into it yet or anything, and I'm not sure how privy I am going to be to doing so.
Mm-hmm.
But I can totally see why you and Sylvia like it so much.
Mm-hmm. Dream, what do you think?
All right, opposite of Austin, who grew up on fighting games and didn't touch a shooter in his life, I was the exact opposite. I grew up on shooters and didn't touch a fighting game within any of my life other than Smash. But so like I played all of the early shooters. Like I played the Quakes. I played the Team Fortress Hats. I played the Left 4 Dead 2 for pretty much 5 years straight of my life with 2 of my buddies, and that's all I did day in and day out. But past 2010, I just kind of stopped. So I haven't really played a modern or team-based shooter past that up until now. And I gotta say, it was a lot different than all of the other ones that I played. But it was still a lot of fun. There was a lot of really cool mechanics. I didn't understand most of what I was doing, but I also understood enough to be able to play confidently. Unlike Austin, when I was actually trying anyway and not shooting the hostage.
Yeah.
You also shot me once because we were both freaking out.
Oh yeah, like everybody was yelling. I didn't understand what anyone was saying, and people were saying, "Dream, watch out behind you." So I turn around and I see a player model with a gun running past me, and like their guns firing. So I'm like, "Oh, this is the person. This person's attacking me." So I unload my entire clip into them and kill them, and it was.
Uh-huh.
But like I also killed like 3 members of the team one time, and it was a lot of fun, and I can definitely see myself getting into it. But at the same time, with the kind of games that I like and playing nowadays, I don't really see me playing Rainbow Six Siege outside of with friends like with Zanza and them in the future. But I definitely can see why people like it. It was a really fun game, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like throwing smoke grenades because it felt useless, but it was.
Yeah. I actually want to say my own experiences back when I started the game.
Mm-hmm.
Me, Sylvia, and like maybe 1 or 2 other people started together, and so originally everyone was like, we don't want to. We're gonna be bad at this game, and it's complicated, and we're gonna make people lose. And so what I ended up convincing everyone to play specifically as a meme. And one thing is that it is a very good meme game, I believe.
Yes,
oh no, we had a lot of fun
very
with the memes.
Yeah, it is a game where I believe that if you're not good at it, then you should just get a bunch of people who also don't get it to just scream at each other constantly as you like kill each other and blow each other up.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that kind of I believe.
What's this cell phone attached to a brick? Why is it beeping?
Boop. Yeah. And then you die. But
I remember one time I put a bomb on Zanza who ran at a shield guy, and I blew both of them up.
Yeah. Why did you?
Man,
I mean, it worked, and we won the round.
That I'd hear today.
Yeah, a lot of the game sense and like strategy and enjoyment for the game itself, which is very rich, by the way. Like once you understand how to play, it's really, really fun and satisfying to play. But until then, I believe that like the best way to play the game is with a bunch of people and just like making fun of yourselves and everyone else and just laughing at the dumb bullshit that can happen. Like one time, we like way back when I was first going, I was just walking around the rooms. Like one person says, "Hey, stop," and I'm like, "Okay," and then they shot a pistol because all of the walls in this game are destructible, so they just headshot me from like across multiple rooms. So it was just, "Hey, yeah, stay there, okay," and then I died, and it was great. It was,
there was also the time that we
formed a suicide pact.
There was that, but there was also the time where we threatened to kill the hostage, and if everyone went home, they went home too. It was a fun time.
Oh yeah, it was like an actual hostage negotiation where if they take another step forward, you kill the hostage, but it just got me banned instead.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, like, and then Sylvia, do you have anything else you want to say?
I mean, I can't really add to what's already been said. It's a game that I enjoy playing, mostly with friends, but I play by myself sometimes and I suck. Cav is pretty fun though, on the bright side.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really took me back to like the days of playing COD zombies or Halo with friends, just fucking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before we leave on this subject, Siege is pretty cool in that every 3 months they have an update and it adds 2 new characters, which I think helps avoid the situations that a lot of these kind of pseudo class-based games have, where they like have big content droughts, because you're pretty much always getting interesting characters, and a new one released like I think the day of us playing it together. So I thought,
yeah, it was Bill from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, they did add
some
him.
other girl.
Hey, she's hot. Don't say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought we could talk about that, Sylvia.
I think that at the very least, Cade, his thing is that he fires he throws out a little thing that electrocutes things in a small radius, like walls or shields. He's decent, but I don't find him very fun.
Yeah, like
Nomad, who like sets little shoots grenades and then they become little traps, like mines.
Yeah, but like specifically Nomad's thing is that they're not like blowy uppy things, they're like air blasts. So if someone walks by them, they just like get ragdolled across the room. The whole thing is, well, they've had 3 different operators now whose thing is that they can go through reinforced walls. They've only they only have 2 operators that like stop people from going through them. There's Bandit, and his whole thing is that he has like 4 car battery things that he puts on walls or any other electronic thing, and it makes it all zappy to break the things that they put on the wall. And then Mute has these little jammers that create a small area of effect where things don't work. Cade's whole thing is that, for one, both of those old guys couldn't electrify hatches, so his thing is that he can throw them and they stick to walls. But his other thing is that it's like in a radius, so like if you strategize really, really well with your team, you can probably have some kind of crazy setup where everything is electrified and no drones can get in and they're just like fucked, and you can like basically be a super anchor team. But other than that, I feel like in like any kind of casual play where you don't have everyone highly coordinated like that, he's just kind of a lesser Bandit, because he's probably going to electrify 4 things just like Bandit does, but instead of being a 3-speed, and in Rainbow Six Siege you basically always want to be have a 3-speed instead of being a 3 armor character. Instead of being a 3-speed with like a really fun gun that can like run around and do roaming stuff, you're basically just a little shitter that has to sit around for it, and I don't think it's a worthy trade-off. So he's a character that I think is more for like pro players than it is for the average person.
I get that.
Yeah, and then with Nomad was the one I really liked, because her thing is that she's on attack, so she has these little things, and she's basically the character Ella, but she's on attack instead of defense. So what you do is, first of all, it's hilarious because sometimes before you go into a room, you just shoot the little thing and then everyone like flies through the walls out of the room, and then
And Ella also just lays mines for contact.
Well, yeah, she throws like little mine things that like concuss people, but again, Nomad's ragdolls people across the room, and you can do stupid setups where you throw people out windows and they just bleed out on the floor.
I didn't know that. That sounds amazing and awful.
And the main thing I like about her is that you can. Let's say there's like a door frame. You don't want like a roamer or whatever coming from behind. You can stick a mine on the top of it, and if they try to walk through, I'm pretty sure they get knocked down. I don't know if they get knocked forward or back, but they do get knocked down, so you'll know, A, someone is approaching from that direction because it makes a loud sound, and in Siege, sound is really important because you can tell the direction of it. So you can do that to basically fuck with people that way, and I don't think there's another character that really can fulfill that role in the same way. So she's super fun. She's my favorite. I think she's going to end up being like a lot of characters they add in Siege, in which they have like a super fun, cool ability, but because they either like don't have the guns, or they're not 3-speed or whatever, they just get edged out of competitive, which means that they luckily stay as powerful as they are forever, and it's great. And Nomad's cool, and she's hot also. Did I mention that?
I like...
Also, Cade's shotgun effort is overpowered.
Oh, well, I say that about every shotgun because they're so bad. They have to keep buffing them.
Well, it has 10 rounds, and I think it's a slug.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you say that, but, like, Vigils is literally just a sniper rifle, but a shotgun at the same time.
That's true. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Dream, you were saying?
I like Snake Boy because his booby traps.
Booby.
I liked Boy because his booby traps made it so I didn't have to. And IQ because girl pretty.
Yeah, I agree with that last one. They took her. She used to have frag grenades though, and that was like, her thing is that she has like a bunch of pretty decent weapons, and then she had frag grenades, but now she doesn't, and so. Her weapon again, she's like, I said that a lot of the characters they add tend to be, they have like a super cool like little niche ability, but they never end up getting like crazy good.
Neat.
Yeah, but IQ's lit.
All right, now it's time to talk about the important stuff.
Hey, are we at the big segment?
Yeah, it's time for the important games. Smash Brothers.
Okay, so when it comes to I can talk again. All right, so when it comes to Smash,
damn, you hurt me. You cut me deep.
I mean, I just didn't know what to say. I didn't even remember. Listen, bud, did you see the way I was playing? You think I can remember a single thing I did?
No, because I was yelling at you to go to the giant wall with a yellow X on it. For like, I was yelling at you to go walking over to it for 2 minutes.
Austin, you did something. You threw a smoke ball on a guy that killed me.
I know, right? It was great. I avenged you. He sure couldn't see for 3 seconds. Anyway. So Smash Ultimate. So by the time that this is being recorded and uploaded, the game's already out. But before we do that, since it's been so fucking long since we've done a podcast, the one Nintendo Direct happened. That was the Smash Direct, which is where Ken and Incineroar were announced, disproving
and the Grinch fucking died.
Yeah, the Grinch was dead, and a lot of other stuff was announced.
We didn't even mention the Grinch leak yet because that was between.
We didn't. Episodes. I thought that we did. Fuck.
Nope. The whole Grinch leak was like in the middle of that.
Damn. Okay. Well, there was a leak called the Grinch leak, and I kind of believed it. Because
the thing, it was super credible. No, we definitely didn't because it happened afterwards. I remember because I was in an assembly about school shooters, and that happened afterwards.
Oh.
Don't ask. Anyway. It was really funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
if you insist.
So like the Grinch leak was this whole thing, and it was based on it's not really important, but the point is it was a very credible looking leak that ended up not being true. But you know what leak was true that we did talk about that you all said looked awful, but I said was correct? Ken! That one Ken leak you all said looked awful was real, and I was the only one.
Because
I didn't say it looked awful. I said I didn't see it, which was the truth, by the way.
I was right. That Ken leak was real. Anyway.
Props on you for being right.
Yeah, anyway. So that happened, then...
Fucking Plant.
Well, before we get to Plant, I just wanted to say that's also where we got to see World of Light, which is this game's adventure mode equivalent, which we'll get to when we start talking about the game now that it's actually out and everything. But before that, they also announced at that the first pseudo DLC character, which you will get free if you get the game within like the first, I think, month and a half or 2 months of the game being out, you will get Piranha Plant.
Okay,
Fucking
so
Plant.
you guys,
Fucking Plant. Like, it's the perfect thing because it's a joke character. It lets everyone know that Sakurai decides who gets in, and just because a character's popular doesn't mean they get in. Like, it's the perfect character to add, and it's hilarious. Only it works too good because it pisses me off as well. Who lives for the anger of other people?
Yeah.
I'm done. Sorry.
to be honest, I think that fucking Piranha Plant is like literally the most hype announcement of all of them because I didn't give it a single shit about anyone else.
Well, that's
And,
not
like-
how I feel, but...
Well, because like the thing is, Piranha Plant is like his kit seems way more interesting than everyone else. Like, he seems like a character who is created not because, oh, this is the character that's like super popular and it has like a cool series and all the tons of Smash kids want it. Instead, like, some kind of guy came up with this really crazy idea of, yo, what if we create this crazy cool kit out of this fucking Piranha Plant? And, like, he was super passionate about it, and he, like, fought for it in all of the fucking business meetings, and Sakurai liked it, and because his kit seems way more interesting and inspired than most characters. Personally,
Fun
like, he's got
fact.
all these weird tricks to him, and he
Fun
was like
fact.
the most shocking.
I'm
and
gonna
interesting one.
interrupt here while we're still on this topic to add to your argument in your favor.
Ooh.
His side B, the poison gas, is an attack from Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door from one of the tropical piranha plants. This is also the most actual Paper Mario content we've gotten with Super Paper Mario.
I don't know if I should be happy or sad about that last part.
I'm happy that we've gotten content, but I'm upset that it's taken this long and it's on the side B.
Yeah.
It's only the side B of Piranha Plant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that Piranha Plant just seems like by far the most interesting character that they've announced.
I don't know.
Like I feel like everyone else was kind of real standard. Like Sakurai was pressing the Make Smash roster button.
I don't
on his
know. I mean, at least for me, I mean, some of the characters I can see that in terms of like, we gotta get a Pokemon rep, Incineroar. And I mean, I'm glad he's in the game though because he's fun. But and I can see that to an extent. But also, I was super jazzed about like pretty much every newcomer they added except for Isabelle. So,
Same.
So
Yeah.
I was really
I mean,
happy with that.
You say that, but I think Isabelle also has like one of the more inspired kits.
If by that you mean just Villager's moveset except
If
two
you-
different moves.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
yeah,
about to
but
say.
But her two different moves are like fucking crazy.
Yeah, her two different
Stupid
moves
grabs.
are also two different tools. The only two tools that Animal Crossing character didn't use.
Anyway.
I guess that's true. I mean, to
He
be
has
honest, we
the
haven't
most
actually.
uninspired moveset of any character in Ultimate.
Chrom.
Well, at least Chrom is an Echo fighter. They didn't try to
Yeah.
say that he was something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, they weren't trying to be like he is the
Yeah.
most.
All
he's
right,
the
yeah,
most busted.
I agree with that. I don't know. Inspired was the wrong word. I just think she's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, but the thing I can totally see where Piranha Plant's moveset definitely looks interesting. And when he was first announced, I was all like, what the fuck? But like the more I've thought about it, it's like, okay, I mean, obviously, it's been said before, no character takes any other character's spot. It's just a matter of what is chosen. And like the more I sat with it, the more I warmed up to Piranha Plant. I was definitely mad at first though, but like, you know, I mean, it looks interesting to play as. So I'm curious and I'm interested to see how it's gonna work. But like,
I'm not. I'm setting this plant on fire.
I mean, I'll be doing that too, but like, the thing is that, you know, it's definitely a weird announcement because it was really funny. There was this one thing in the past when there was like an interview with Sakurai, and they were talking about like, hey, what about like the surprise retro characters? Like, you know how like there was Game & Watch, then Rob, then Smash for a Duck Hunt. And then Sakurai specifically mentioned in that interview, and he was like, you know, I don't view it as like the retro character revival. I view it as the surprise character, the one that nobody's expecting. And I feel like he said that as like a weird foreshadowing to this, because this is what that category, he considers Piranha Plant to be in the same category as that.
Yeah.
So like... Basically, this is the quote-unquote retro revival surprise character.
I'll give you that one, because the surprise character reveal, each of them are also while are always overlooked, are all super important to Nintendo's history. And Piranha Plant is, by technical means, no different. But...
Yeah, it just...
Still, fuck this plant.
The
Fuck
thing
this plant
with
everything.
Yeah, the problem with the plant is that it's not even... Because, like, if it was, like, a Goomba, it'd be like, okay, it's the most recognizable Mario enemy, so, like, alright, whatever. Something like that. But, like, Piranha Plant's, like... It's, like, right on that cusp where it's, like... It is a rarely recognizable Mario mook that's on the level of other Mario mooks, but it's not, like, the most popular one. So it's, like, right on that threshold of, like, it's... not a unique
prior
character.
To their announcement in Smash, who said their favorite Mario enemy was Piranha Plant? Like,
Yeah.
let's be real. Like, yeah, there are Goomba fans. There are Koopa fans. There are the Charging Chuck fans. There's the fans of the weird fucking Galoombas that only appeared once until Mario 3D World. But, like, no one on the planet said, you know what? I like Piranha Plant.
But now he's in Smash Brothers, so...
And now he's in Smash Brother, and everybody wants to suck its fucking spores.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So,
don't say that again.
It took me a second for that one to hit in. But what were you gonna say, Sylvia?
Nothing.
Are you
Nothing.
sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I was going to say a snarky comment about Dream, which I honestly forget right now.
Oh.
I see. Like
Thanks for
usual.
honesty. Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway,
Yeah.
before we
I
get...
think-
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think it's mostly just that a lot of people were extremely hyped up by like all of the things in the Grinch leak
Yeah.
and all of the other expectations, and the fact that, you know, it's kind of weird that so few characters are added, and people, even though like everyone knew that less
Yeah.
characters were going to be added, it's kind of hard to gauge, you know.
Kind of like how...
And plus, like the announcement itself is really weirdly paced. Like they open with Ken and Incineroar, and then they go on to like a bunch of game mode stuff and options, and then at the very end it's just, oh hey, guess what? We added Piranha Plant.
Yeah,
and
no,
goodbye.
that's the one, like, just exactly what you were saying. Part of what made Piranha Plant's reveals so, like, polarizing, I feel, outside of the fact that it's Piranha Plant, was, like, the way the Direct was paced, because obviously people had expectations up from the leaks, but that's not, like, Nintendo's fault. But, like, the Direct itself was like, okay, Ken and Incineroar, that's cool, that's a thing. And then the rest of the Direct was really padded out, and, like, okay, these are some cool options, but, like, alright, this doesn't need to be 40 minutes long. And then it's like, oh yeah, here's Plant. Okay. Like, alright.
Wow.
Sure, thanks. That's a great way to end it off. And then they actually ended it off with World of Light, which was a good way of ending it off. But,
Yeah.
before we get to the other thing that was announced before the game came out, because, we'll get there. But I feel like since the game is out, we could talk about how the game is out and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I actually, I didn't have a Switch, but I literally got one yesterday with the game, and so I'm playing World of Light basically right around right now for the first time, and I haven't played a Smash game in years, so this is like a really weird experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ganon's a character now. He's still bad, but he's a character.
The Belmonts are really stupid, but they're also really fun. I love pressing the B button over and over again and throwing axes. Also, King K. Rool's stomach armor's stupid, but also similarly, I love it.
I'm glad that Young Link is a really good high tier character. Just, can I kill with something other than aerial up B?
Also, Sonic's homing attack is an actual move, so people better watch the fuck out.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
glad that Snake is also back. He's the one character that I've always wanted to come back.
Mhm.
And I'm also glad that he's still really good, including in the first big tournament, PG, MVP,
Yeah, MVD,
actually
yeah.
won with Snake.
Yeah.
So
MVD is known in the Brawl days for being one of the biggest Snake mains, so...
yeah, so Snake is back. Snake is good. That makes me a happy boy. Link is good. Toon Link isn't that good. Ness is good. I just need to learn how to fucking play him again because they change K Thunder every goddamn game. Ganon's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with him in doubles. He's definitely a better doubles character than he is a single character.
To be fair, that's always how it's kind of been with Ganon, but...
Yeah.
But, just
But,
in
like,
gen-
now he's viable in doubles.
Yeah, but, like, it's really funny when it comes to, like, Smash Ultimate, because, like, obviously we've been talking about it, like, on a majority of the Game Library episodes, and Smash is, like, my favorite game series ever. But now that the game is out, I mean, outside of detailing every single little experience I've had with it, it's really hard to say shit other than the game is really fucking good. Like, it's just really amazing.
Like,
the way they did the
perfect
classic
balance.
mode. Yeah.
It's the perfect balance of casual and competitive to make all of the competitive and casual happy. It's fast enough and competitive enough for all of the Melee fans to actually leave Melee and like Ultimate, while also still being understandable and slow enough that all those Smash 4 fans will come and love it and play it competitively. We're getting balanced. It's just the perfect competitive Smash game.
Except for the fact that the online sucks, but that's the one.
Yeah, the online is literally the only bad thing about the game. And even then, the arenas are perfect. The arenas are what the online should be, but then the standard online is fucking pathetic and brings the game down by like 2 points.
I don't think it brings it down that far, but it's pretty bad. Yeah,
I
so-
have an honest complaint with Smash, and I'm worried that I'm going to be hanged at the stake for mentioning something bad about it. But
I mean,
screw it,
just-
I'll
bring
speak
it
my
up.
piece.
Yeah, bring it up.
I mean, I'm here, so don't worry.
I dislike how characters are unlocked.
Oh, yeah, no. I can... Because when it comes to... Because of the way that they're handling it, because it's like, hey, you start off with the original 8 characters from Smash 64, and that's great and all, but that leaves, like, close to 70 characters to unlock, and... And the thing is that they were saying before, like, oh, we've made a streamlined way of unlocking the characters, which I guess, yeah, if you want to play World of Light and have 12 hours sucked out of your life, then sure, you'll unlock them all at the end of it. But, which me and Dream did. But,
Yeah,
but
I mean, you can also play everybody's classic mode in one sitting and unlock all the characters in like 2 hours. You can just play versus matches with your friends and unlock all of them in like 3 or 4 hours.
But it still takes forever. That's the thing.
I like how they made everyone besides the original 8 like unlockable, and I like the way that you unlock them. Sue me.
I mean, I like the idea of it, but I can agree with Sylvia in the sense that like okay, World of Light, that makes sense. Okay, that's a great way of unlocking them, but there's like, it's weird. Like I don't know how else they would do it in a sense, because they made it pretty simplified. Like, hey, just do classic mode as a character, you'll get another character. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and
starting out the original 8 is a good idea. It's cute, but the thing, like, where I draw the line is having 8 needing to unlock 70, and that's like 140 battles. It's dumb.
Yeah, that's again, like, I feel like I'm not sure exactly how else I would do it, because, like, the way I remember unlocking characters is you would have all those, like, weird alternative methods, like, you know, the most obvious one is Mewtwo with leaving your game console on for 100 hours, but, like,
having to end an adventure stage ending in 2 with the timer.
Yeah, and like, I mean, with how many characters there are and the game modes there are in Ultimate, like, I'm not sure how they'd be able to come up with those kind of conditions for every single character. So the way they did it was, like, you know, obviously simplified and, as they said, I guess, streamlined. But also, there's just a lot. There's a lot of characters to get. So it'll just take a while no matter what you do.
What I'm upset about in regards to unlocking is the fact that you don't start with all of the game.
All of the what? You cut
out. You start out with like 740 tracks. out of the 1,043 that there are. When you start out with
there are discs in this
There
game?
aren't CDs, but you get songs for beating stuff in classic mode and spirit battles and...
Or buying them from the shop.
Yeah.
I
there
still
aren't
think the
CDs,
CD
and,
thing
like,
is stupid.
Day one of actually playing the regular part of the game, like in our first session, me and Austin actually ran into Mew, and since there aren't CDs, Mew just appears and then leaves and does nothing. Mew is basically just a rare Goldeen now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And listen, the CD system has scarred me since Brawl. Okay.
Honestly, even since Brawl, I've just
remember-
been saying all of
I
the music
remember-
should be unlocked from.
I remember hearing the Team Galactic music, and Diamond and Pearl was my favorite game as a kid, and I was like, wow, I really want to unlock this music. And it took me actual years to unlock it. Granted, that's because I played the game on and off, but...
Yeah.
Ever since Brawl, I've been saying it, and I keep saying it because they keep doing it. All of the music should be unlocked from the get-go. Especially with what they wanted with the music with this game, with your Switch basically being a portable MP3, which who the hell is going to use that outside of Japan? But, like, all of it should be unlocked from the get-go, but it's not.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, again, a lot of the issues...
But on the other hand, we have Chunky Kong.
Well, yeah,
So,
no,
like,
okay, yeah, because...
he's the real winner.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Smash Ultimate has a couple of little problems, and there's the problem with the online, and they need to fix their matchmaking. It's getting better over time, but they just need to fix it. But, I mean, that's a small price to pay when Chunky Kong's a spirit, so, like, you know.
Yeah, worth it.
It's worth it. The one problem with spirits is that they don't have descriptions, which I mean makes sense because obviously that's like a bajillion descriptions to write, but at the same time, I wish there was at least something.
At the same time, now how are we going to get our description of Chunky Kong going to the bathroom?
I know, right? I've said this before, but my favorite thing about fucking Chunky Kong, or one of my favorite things, was that up until Smash Ultimate, he had only appeared in 3 games: Donkey Kong 64, a 3-second cameo in the Game Boy Advance port of Donkey Kong Country 3, and as a sticker, not a trophy, but a sticker in Brawl. It has been a literal decade since Chunky Kong has appeared in anything, and it is as a spirit. And he has made a tutorial out of how to get rid of spirits.
Oh, that was the worst part. What disrespect! We finally found his dead body, and they want us to do it again.
Yeah, we finally found Chunky's spirit, and they want us to dismiss it. Like, what garbage is this? I still haven't gotten his spirit in game. Dream has.
I'm the first one. I am the first, and I believe the only, who have been graced by the great spirit Chunky Kong of days old in our friend group so far.
Yeah, I've been doing classic mode a whole ton recently, because I know you were telling me you got him through classic mode. So I've just been going through it, not just because of Chunky, because I wanted to do it, but every time I finish it, I'm only doing the credits minigame, where you have to shoot all the names every single time, because it gives you the presents, and maybe one of them will be Chunky.
Like, why do we even call this... Like, why do we call our fucking Discord group Fine Dining? It should be the Chunky Kong Appreciation Server.
To be fair, we made Fine Dining before the Chunky meme started, so...
Well, change it. Change it to the Chunky Kong Fan Club.
Anyway...
Found in scenic Chunky's...
Yeah. Anyway, since Smash Ultimate is still relatively new, I don't think we need to go over, like, all the specific details of World of Light, but, like, it's chock full of content, it's really fucking long, and if you're not insane like me and Dream and try and grind it out in 3 sessions, it can last you a long time, but...
We finished it in 2 days.
Yeah, we were crazy, because, you know, we're insane, and,
we stayed up all night.
Yeah, I didn't get sleep, but, It is a lot of fun. It gets a bit redundant sometimes, and some of the spirit battles are really fucking stupid, but overall, it's a pretty fun experience. There are some really fun segments, like there's a segment near the end where there's 3 branching paths, and one of them is based off Castlevania, and it's the best part of the game. And then there's also a segment at the very end when you get to play as a certain something that I won't say because I don't want to spoil for anyone listening.
And it was the best thing ever.
Well, it's almost like it's
for
me.
it since in play.
Yeah.
Wait, is it the part where you get to play
Yeah.
it?
Well,
Well, now you gotta cut it out.
yeah, but it is that.
I mean, I don't think it's... I don't know. I feel like these are already kind of spoilery.
I mean, I didn't know about it, so thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait, how? I thought everyone's already beaten it.
I mean, not her.
Oh.
Anyway. Point is,
Don't worry, you can just bleep it out. No, better yet, I'll record me saying something else, and you can just cut it over that, so it's terrible.
yeah.
Guys,
You make it. Well, oh shit! I can't say it because I swore I wouldn't make jokes about him. But you could just say the name.
I wasn't the one who spoiled something for once.
I know. You can feel happy.
Oh
once.
god, I have to commit seppuku now.
But anyway, Smash Ultimate's really good. Very fun to play online. Well, not online. Online with friends, but very fun to play just in general.
Hashtag yoink master race.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I may or may not actually make a video on Ultimate because it's been a while since I made actual YouTube content, but I'm feeling inspired. So.
It's been a while since you've made content.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of your like original videos and stuff were based on
Smash 4.
Yeah, Smash.
Yeah, so that's a big thing with just Smash in general. That like, there's a good chance I might actually make some stuff, and I have an idea that I think could be fun. But yeah, I mean, I said it earlier, but it's really hard to say like stuff without recounting every single detail of everything with Smash Brothers. That's amazing, which I'm sure I could do at some point. But like, just for the sake of brevity and the fact that we don't have literally all of time, Ultimate's a really great game, and you should get it right now. So yeah. Anyway, one last thing about Smash Ultimate. Regarding that we haven't talked about yet was that the day, or I guess the night before it came out, was Thursday, December 6th, which is also the date of the Game Awards, otherwise known as Cowboy Game gets all of the awards.
Game Awards,
which rightfully belongs to God of War.
Yeah, Game Awards for me is like a massive, like fucking tradition, like a cult, because it's so bad.
Yeah.
You have to do it as like a rite of passage.
And the only reason why me and Austin even watched it was to wait for the character reveal.
And wait,
even
don't
then,
say it. Yeah.
We weren't even there when they revealed the character because we were off getting our midnight copies of Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking nerds. You weren't there to actually experience the
thing.
Fucking
the thing.
No. What is it? What is it? Hazing. You weren't there to experience the hazing ritual itself. You were there for the candy at the end.
Yeah, no, but the fun thing about the Game Awards was, well, unfortunately Kojima wasn't there, but they brought Tommy Wiseau back, so that's all that matters. But the Game Awards, yeah.
They even had him. They even asked him, "Hey, what do you think about other award shows?" Like they fucking knew.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau for Super Smash Brothers deal.
Yeah, but
deals no damage because he cannot hit her.
Yeah, there were some
What a funny story, man.
There were some cool things that were shown off there, like Phil Spencer, Reggie, and the PlayStation guy.
Not Fallout.
The PlayStation guy all being on the same stage together. Yeah, the not
the
Fallout.
Obsidian, not Fallout.
The game by Hades, the game by the people who made Bastion.
Sadly, guess what? It's that and what was the other game? Ashen are only on the Epic Games Store right now.
Yeah.
They're not on Steam. I have to imagine it's because Mr. Fortnite is like paying them a lot of money for an exclusive deal.
Oh, speaking of that, sorry to interrupt you, but speaking of that, wasn't your favorite segment of the Game Awards when they got Ninja to be with a Muppet and they talked about Fortnite the entire time?
I erased it from my brain, you bastard.
Yeah, that's like serious suppression dream. Like those were bad memories you had to suppress in your mind.
Yeah, and so there's all that. But sorry for interrupting, but what else did you have to say about the Epic Games thing?
Right. Basically, Epic Games recently released a store kind of like the one for
like Blizzard.
No, it's kind of like
one
the
for Discord.
one. No, kind of like the Discord one. But fuck, one sec. It's like that, except it's not going to work out because everyone who has it are children who are playing Fortnite, and people are playing Fortnite because it's free and they're children without money. So like, I understand that like, it's like I understand them wanting to capitalize on the number of people that have the Epic Games launcher now, but the audience isn't going to cross over to buy these weird niche indie games. They're just not. It's like the wrong audience.
Yeah.
And two, it's really annoying for me because I love playing indie games, but I have Steam and I have Discord for other things. I don't want to download anything else. So really, they might as well have just said to anyone who doesn't play Fortnite, maybe you should like wait a month.
Maybe you should die.
Yeah, maybe I should go sans Undertale myself.
Maybe go meet Crash Bandicoot and Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh yeah, there was a Crash Team Racing remake that was also announced.
Ooh, yeah. There was a lot of stuff.
Oh
there
yeah,
was...
yeah. Then there was Psychonauts 2, baby.
Oh
Yeah.
baby!
Which
And
looks
there was
super
yeah, and then there was Hello Games, who made No Man's Sky, are trying to make a it looked like some kind of weird indie adventure game, and I'm like, oh, on the one hand that looks cute, but on the one hand I know that there's always evil lurking beneath them, so
Yeah.
I want to.
Always evil looking beneath Epic Games skin.
No, it was Hello
Not
Games.
Epic. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting to see how they can somehow twist it into some kind of horrifying demon,
Yeah.
or whatever.
But as outside, like as we were watching all these announcements, me and Dream and I believe Ethan was there, but me and Dream mostly were like, we're here because we expect there to be a Smash character announcement because we're it's the night before and they've been hinting that there's going to be a thing announced. There's got to be something, and of course they
would be revealed here.
well, and of course it's going to be at the fucking end. So we're like, all right, come on, just get to it already because we have to leave to get to our midnight releases at Smash. So at some point it's like, all right, well, we got to go now. So both me and Dream left the thing. And of course, as soon as we fucking leave, I mean, we could just say it because fucking Joker from Persona 5 gets announced, and I literally had an anime girl orgasm, and my knees gave out, and I was on the floor, like, screaming.
I yelled at the top of my lungs in public.
God damn it, pretty boy Ren made you splooge.
Yeah. Because I was with, because at my
I
college...
remember the moment they revealed it on the guy's phone that I was watching off of next to me while waiting in line. First, I yelled at the very top of my lungs. Then, my next course of action was to immediately take out my phone and call Austin.
Yeah.
Who was on the ground orgasming.
Yeah,
At
no.
the fact that both of our dream characters got revealed for Smash, and we were texting each other yelling like, dude, like the one High and Daisy Persona 4 comic, like, dude, and then like the one with Rize, and it's like they're on the phone, it's like, dude.
Yeah, but it was just crazy, and Persona is now in Smash, and I think we've mentioned it before, but Joker's the character that I really wanted, but after so long, I wasn't really expecting him to get in anymore. And after they announced Nintendo's choosing the DLC characters, we're like, all right, pack it in, boys. Monty Mole's next.
All right, Paratroopa,
Yeah, you fucking underestimated Reggie's power.
Yeah, and then Reggie drops
I
this
was
shit on
expecting
us.
shit like Paratroopa, Bokoblin to make it in Smash, not fucking literally everyone that me and Austin knows. Like, second
Just
dream
like-
pick, that would never happen. Joker from Persona 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty...
I think we can
crazy.
synonymously agree works.
Yeah, it's crazy excitement, and like we could sit here and speculate all day on what his moveset is, but we really don't need to, because the main thing is that he's in the fucking game, and we need to see the gameplay now.
There are a couple things that I want to say about it. One, there's a recent leak, so we know his stage now. I won't say it unless you guys want it.
Well, the thing is that the thing with this leak is that the reason as to why it's getting credibility was because it was a leak that was detailing. This was before Joker was announced. And this was a leak, I think it was probably on 4chan, because that's where all the Smash leaks are. But there was like a leak that was detailing, oh, here's some Smash information. Joker's going to be in the game. Stage is going to be this. There's going to be music tracks. And then here's the next DLC character. And here's some more stuff with them. But the thing is that, and in this same leak, they're like, oh yeah, unrelated to Smash Brothers, but also Arc System Works is going to be making a Grand Blue fantasy fighting game. And that's, oh, okay, well, all right. That same day that leak was discovered, that fighting game was announced. So, like,
Yeah.
like there's that.
Yeah.
This was before Joker was announced. And so if we're following this leak, the other character they announced is Erdrick from Dragon Quest.
Which, if you live in America, you're wondering who the fuck this character is. But if you live in Japan, everyone is saying, well, why did it take this long?
I mean, you know, people in Japan are probably saying the same thing about Ridley, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Ridley was Captain America, and then Erdrick is, you know, Japan's retaliation. But the thing is that, you know, it's... I mean, one thing, though, is that if this is true, this takes Square's rep. So no Sora, probably. But, the thing is that now with Joker in the game, I mean, people were saying the same thing with Cloud, but now with Joker especially, it's that same effect where everyone's like, well, now it can be literally anybody. If Joker's their first one they announced, who's it gonna be? So
I mean, well, the thing is, they said this. I said the same thing with fucking Piranha Plant, but no one believed me.
Yeah,
So-
so like...
Yeah. Oh yeah, really quickly, really quickly, sorry, I have to get this joke out, because I just remembered this is a joke I had planned, since we're talking about the Game Awards, and Arc System Works. Dragon Ball FighterZ news of the podcast, it got Fighting Game of the Year in the Game Awards, there, you win.
Oh, right, yeah, we have to do that every episode. I forgot.
Right.
But, fucking... as for, like, the 5 or more music tracks the DLC characters bring to the table, Mass Destruction and Rivers in the Desert better be in Smash.
I'm sure Rivers in the Desert will be.
I don't know about Mass Destruction, though.
I don't know about Mass Destruction, but I'm sure Rivers in the Desert will be there. But Mass Destruction might not be in there, and if it isn't, I am personally going to kick Reggie's.
I mean, it depends, because, like, when they were doing the, when they did, like, the like, hey, Smash Brothers cross Persona 5, it is specifically Persona 5, so they might not include other Persona music in there, but who knows?
Listen,
Yeah?
if Life Will Change is in Smash, I will be the happiest individual in the world at any given
Yeah.
5 minutes beyond that announcement. Me finding out.
I mean, the instrumental version was in the trailer, so we can only assume.
We can assume, but I don't know.
One song from Persona 5 that might not make it in, that I hope it does, is actually Blooming Villain.
Mm-hmm.
Good track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blooming Villain's pretty good. And I'm just curious of, like if we're getting any remixes, and if so, of which songs, and, like, is it gonna be like is it gonna be a Bayonetta / Snake Eater situation where we don't get any of the lyrics? Because if so, that completely is gonna be awful. But
Well, like,
no, I think that's because, especially with Bayonetta, because they're like basically like redos.
yeah,
of
well, but
copyright.
yeah,
Well,
but there are some that aren't though.
The counter to that, though, Zanza, is, again, Snake Eater isn't like a real ass song. It was made for Metal Gear, but like the thing is with the Persona music and the difference between that and stuff like, again, like Snake Eater is Snake Eater was like, the vocalist was hired separately to make lyrics for the song that composer made separate from the vocalist, and then both the vocalist and the composer sold the rights to the music for Metal Gear that Kojima then bought, so it was outsourced for the game. Whereas the music for Persona and like stuff like Life Will Change, Blooming Villain, and all that were made by the composers at Square that
Atlus.
own the rights to it. That are, sorry, I always forget. That are owned by Atlus, made by Atlus for Atlus, and then put into an Atlus game. The vocalist and the composer, all of their rights for all of the Persona music are belonging to the Persona series and aren't outsourced for the game. So if they were to add those songs to the game, there would be nothing stopping them from keeping the lyrics and the vocalist in if they were to have the songs added to Smash. The question is, are they going to keep the vocals in?
Mm-hmm. Because even still, there are some Bayonetta songs that are not like, I mean, there's like Fly Me to the Moon and Moon River, which are like covers of other songs, but Bayonetta also has plenty of songs that are not covers that have lyrics.
Yeah.
That, like Tomorrow Is Mine, that does not have any lyrics in Smash, so.
Like, and usually when new music is added to Smash, I want them to remix it, especially with the music direction they've been going with all the new remixes for Ultimate. But like, all of the Persona music from Persona that might be added to Smash, I don't want them to remix.
Like, I want them to add the songs, but like maybe just like one remix, you know? Like,
Yeah, maybe like one remix. Like if it's gonna be like a weird song, like the Sunny Day song from Persona 4 or something, just cool.
Yeah.
Like maybe a
Well, 'cause,
remix
like, the
something
thing
like
is-
that. But if it's one of the battle or boss or main themes like Mass Destruction, Bloom and Villain, etc., Life Will Change, I really hope they don't remix them.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think it's more, it kind of has to do with how new the music in the game is, and Persona 5 is pretty new, so I think it's fine.
yeah. But,
I think it'll survive.
Yeah, it's very interesting with the direction, because if Nintendo's picking the DLC things, at least, like, they're selecting the characters that Sakurai can choose from, and Joker was one of them. I mean, like, hell, I mean, who knows, Travis might still have a shot at it.
Who knows? Travis
I can't
might...
believe Sakurai gave Suda such a cold shoulder that Nintendo had to step in.
But,
What I'm fucking freaking out over is with Nintendo choosing the characters, two, Bandai Namco allowing them to use their characters because they're making the game. A dot hack character, needs to be Kite, actually has a fairly decent chance of making it into Smash. And if like Kite or another dot hack character makes it in, I'm going to actually die.
Keep dreaming,
Like-
buddy.
yeah, that's
like-
what I'm telling him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good chance, but there's a decent chance of it
I
happening.
mean,
And
well, there's
just the
also a
fact that
decent chance of
exists.
Gordeau going in, because...
No, there isn't, though. Not with
No,
Gordeau.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats. So, specifically, Arc System Works has been saving up their shit. And so, Arc System has two teams, and one of them works on, like, the 3D games like Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball, and, of course, the new Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. And then there's another team that works on their sprite things. And so, assuming that the Grand Blue game is being worked on by their 3D division and not like their 2D division switching over to 3D for some reason, then that, and combined with the fact that Arc System has been basically completely silent on stuff for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, despite the fact that the new franchises and everything is in the air, and they said that there's a lot of stuff coming. Like, nothing's coming this year. And my conspiracy theory is because whenever fucking Evo or whatever happens next, they're gonna show it, and then at the end, whoever's fucking, I don't care if it's Ragna, but maybe it's Gordeau, is gonna be sitting there, and a letter is gonna blow by, and he's like, "Ooh, what's this?"
Yes, because that's what Gordeau would say.
Yes, and I know that is a 0.0001% chance of happening, but I don't care. I'll latch onto it and I'll die to it.
Well, like, meanwhile, mine has like a 20 to 25% chance.
No,
Try
yeah,
closer to 5.
Yeah,
No,
I'd say closer
but
to 2.
the fact that there is that good of a chance existing makes me happy, even if no one even gets in.
Come back to us when you prove it all wrong.
But guys,
even if no dot hack character makes it in, the fact that there's a 20% chance that they might, and there was a time where that existed, happy.
Hey guys, there's also, I mean, with Nintendo picking the characters, there's also a chance that who shall not be named can also get in. Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about me, Hajime?
No.
Oh, sorry. You mean the other Sans.
Anyways, now that we've gotten Joker out of the way, now that Persona's in Smash, that's pretty great. But I mean, there are other Persona things out there, such as the game we have to talk about. Persona 5, go to Persona 4.
How can we tie this back to Persona 3 in the end? That's the question I'm asking.
By dunking Persona 4 back into the trash can it belongs.
No.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
before we say anything, first Sylvia, or I guess whoever wants to explain what Persona 4 is.
Well-
and also before we continue, big spoiler.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but we're getting to that segment of the podcast where we're gonna talk about the game of the week, or the game of the month, or the game of the year.
Spoiler warning for Persona 4 and its story.
Yeah, so spoiler warning for Persona 4 or anything like that if you haven't played the game. I mean, if you don't care about spoilers, that's one thing, but if you do, you should wait. You should skip to the very end of the podcast, timestamps in the description, to see what the game for next week is. But yeah, Persona 4 is our game of this week. And do you want to give a very brief description as to what Persona 4 is, since you suggested it, Sylvia?
I mean, Persona 4 is a game where you go into a TV because a bunch of murders happen.
Okay,
And you're
so,
like,
yeah.
why did the murders happen?
Okay, so to give a bit of a more in-depth summary, Persona 4 is a JRPG that is the fourth installment, technically fifth, I guess, if you count the two Persona 2s as two different things. And I guess if you're counting FES before that, then whatever. So it's the fourth installment of the Persona series, which revolves, at least from 3 onward, of half the game basically being, high school life simulator, other half of the game being dungeon crawler, where it revolves around the mechanic of personas, which, I mean, as everyone says, are kind of, at least in Persona 5, is a lot like Pokemon where you catch them, but, where basically you use these thing called personas, which are very similar to stands in JoJo, in a sense, where it's these...
Almost as though the entire Persona series and the concept of personas were based off of the JoJo series. What?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, anyway... but the thing is that the characters can take use of these personas to assist them in combat and take care of various elements and, battle, and depending on the game...
Enemies such as Disco Ninja Frog!
Yes. And depending on the game, you will encounter various different, monsters, different, boss enemies, and, of course, each game has their own different cast of characters, when the other half of the game being about social linking and, making friends and developing relationships with those around you, and the two mechanics go hand in hand, and one helps the other, and it's a big ol' 80-hour adventure. And
Yeah.
Social
about
links,
to
I believe
say-
you mean confidant.
I was about to say, in our reviews and thoughts, let's see how long we can hold out without making a high-end Daisy joke. But I just realized I already fucked that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I just wanted to describe what the game was first before I started memeing. Anyway, since Persona 4, just in general, I have a feeling it's going to be a very divisive game in this podcast.
I wonder why.
So, I guess, Sylvia, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I'll let you go first, and I want to go.
I actually think
let the
Sylvia should go
fanboy
first
gush
because
before
one,
we
she
eat him alive.
suggested it. I feel like Sylvia should go first because one, she suggested it, and after Austin, it's going to be a war zone.
Yeah. And
I
also,
want
I have a sneaking
those
suspicion that
two.
Sylvia really liked the game. Was I right?
Austin can go first,
All right.
please.
I'll go first.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to say this right off the bat, that I am 3,027% biased towards Persona 4, because I played it at a very...
Hold on.
What? Wait, what's your...
I gotta do something.
Okay, so should I wait, or what do we... I don't...
Keep going, I guess.
I'm just gonna go. So, I am 3,027% biased towards Persona 4, because I played it during the my sophomore year at high school, which is, right around the same time that the characters in the game are in terms of the, Japan schooling years. I played it at a very important time in my life where things weren't so hot around me. And it was a game that I had always known about and been super curious about, but never actually really played it. And then under various circumstances, I finally got it. I played Persona 4 Golden first on the PS Vita, and basically I played it and I hadn't experienced, there wasn't a game that made me feel the way Persona 4 did ever before I played it. So just emotionally in terms of that and like a lot of like what it is, I love it to fucking death. And I like realistically, like, I mean, if you're asking with my bias and how it is, it's like one of my favorite games ever to exist. So I guess on that scale, it'd be a 10 out of 10. Realistically, if we're going to be rating it in terms of its actual quality, I mean, I still think like it'd be like an 8-ish probably. If I'm going to, I mean, and that's still with bias in there because I'm never going to be able to remove that bias, but I still think it's really amazing. And in terms of the story, characters and stuff, a lot of the gameplay, a lot of elements in terms of gameplay. If you've played Persona 5, Persona 5 basically improves on everything Persona 3 and 4 did in terms of gameplay. So if you want to go back to 4 or 3 after playing 5...
Hold on, I needed to hear old arguments so that I could know what to destroy. Can you do it?
No.
No, you'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that if you've played Persona 5 first and you try and go back to 3 or 4 in terms of gameplay, there's a lot of archaic PS2 era RPG things that Persona 5 improves upon. So in that sense, yeah, is Persona 5? I think Persona 5 is definitely the better game overall. But just in terms of my emotional attachment to it and like what it is, I can recognize there are plenty of flaws within it, and when we get to talking about the flaws, because I know that we will, because Dream and Zanza are in this call, when we start talking about the stuff that's wrong with the game, I will acknowledge the things that I do believe are flaws, because the game is definitely flawed, but just overall, I love it, and there's just so much about the game that I love, and it's shaped a lot of like how I like stuff, and just what has made me a person in general, and it was a very life-changing game for me. So now that I've said this, after Sylvia goes, I can have all of my my hopes and dreams shattered. So you can go, Sylvia.
So Persona 4 is one of the very few games that has made me think about myself as a person on a like not just surface. And that alone makes me recognize it as something at worst interesting, but as Austin said, there are plenty of flaws. Backtracking and the 3-hour beginning segment come to mind first, but as an experience, as a game, as I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed most of the combat. I very much enjoyed my time with this game. I'm interested in checking out Persona 5. All in all, I'd say 8 out of 10.
Okay, so now that me and Sylvia have talked about how we love this game, how about you guys just destroy it? Just go ahead.
All right. I'll let Dream go first.
No, you're not. You're gonna go first while Austin types me his argument.
I see.
Because I was pulled away forcibly.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, I'll go first, though. So my whole thing is, I'm not saying that Persona 4 is a bad game. In fact, I'll go ahead and say that I had to struggle between giving it a 5 or a 6. I think I'll give it a 6. Like, I didn't get to replay the whole game, but I replayed, like, a good chunk of it, and it was better than I remember. But I still think the thing with JRPGs is that, especially turn-based ones, their gameplay is not their main draw. I say most turn-based games are pretty. I know I might anger some like very like traditional old school RPG fans, but I don't think turn-based RPGs have largely. I think they have bad gameplay. But Persona is definitely in like the upper echelons just because of how fast everything is. Like you can die in a turn or two if you're not being really careful and prepared, which gets by the biggest issue turn-based games have, which is, as long as you basically the strategy is heal before you die so that you can keep dealing damage without death and then you win. So I definitely think it's like in the upper echelon of turn-based RPG games, but I don't think that is its main draw, and I don't think it's supposed to because of all of like the social links and things. Like that's just the combat is like, you know, it's the meat on the bone, you know? It's
on the bone
like,
meat.
Yeah, it's the bone on the meat. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's there to prop the rest of the stuff together, which means that I have to compare. I have to think about its story and its characters, and I'm sorry, but maybe it's the phenomenon of the first Persona game you play is your favorite, and I played Persona 3 first. But in comparison, the themes don't really resonate with me. The characters I found to be way more shallow. They do not. I don't think their base is nearly as interesting. They feel like slice of life anime characters, which I guess is good if you like it does make you feel like you're almost a part of this little friend group,
Exactly.
which is
yeah.
nice. But
Mhm.
I don't. I feel like that's way less interesting than like the full arcs that characters go through in Persona 3, and I think thematically, I don't like there's the whole identity and truth stuff, and I'm like, that's okay, but it seems kind of shallow. And in comparison, Persona 3's themes and its atmosphere and its aesthetic resonated with me way more. And I feel like Persona 4 is just like a slice of life anime. That's the best way I would describe it. It's the slice of life anime of the Persona series.
I can definitely I like that like I can't disagree with that because that's definitely with a lot of that. It's just that like at least for me personally, in terms of like with what you were saying with like, you know, the characters not necessarily being as relatable. Maybe it's just me and the time period that I played it at, but like I mean, for me anyways, that's not the not the lack of relatability is nothing.
Well, no, it's not relatability. Like, the characters are memey, and I think anyone who's really a part of any friend group or on the internet or likes memes, you know, is gonna relate to that kind of thing somewhat. But, like, I don't think relatability necessarily determines good characters. I think it's the arcs and story moments hit way harder in Persona 3 to me, and I ended up caring about them a lot more.
So I'm gonna have a very similar argument with Zanza, which is gonna sound like a real broken record, and I'm not very good at articulating my thoughts verbally, so I'm gonna be stumbling over my words a bit like usual, so bear with me. But I'm gonna give it 5 out of 10. Oh boy. So again, I feel very similar in a lot of ways with Zanza, but I mean, thing about me is my favorite like game genre are turn-based RPGs. I love me my RPG, I love me my strategy. So there's all of that, but like Persona 4 is just kind of generic. Like from the story to the characters, like the one thing I'll give Persona 4 over like Persona 3 or 5 is its main party definitely has, well, I wouldn't say they have better characters of like 3 or 5, but their relationships and their connections to each other definitely are better. They definitely seem like a better friend group, and I do enjoy them. But like the story of Persona 4 is all over the place. Like it wants you to think one thing, and it's very straightforward. And then it wants you to think another thing, and it's very straightforward. And it wants you to think another thing, and then it pulls everything out from under the rug for no reason at the last 5 minutes, and then you're like, okay, cool. So everything that I've worked up to until now, kind of pointless because nothing prior I've done mattered, and I was dancing in the palm of someone's hands like Son Goku in the palm of Buddha. Like
Or Nagito.
Shut. Shut. But like, compared to any of the social links of just Persona 3, and they did it way better. Like, Persona 3's message was so much stronger, which was death and everything surrounding it. Like, how you deal with it if you're experiencing someone, like a friend who's grieving, or if you're the one grieving and your friend died, or just any kind of theme or message you'd want from the theme of death, you can get it from Persona 3. One of the social links in Persona 3 is that of a dying man sneaking out of the hospital to try to live a normal life before collapsing on a park bench and getting sent there weekly. And, like, he just wants to write a storybook for kids that are to help them deal with grief and death. And, in fact, it actually gets so popular, the pink alligator, that's Hero, gets references.
It gets referenced in Persona.
So, like, you have that social link alone blows every social link in Persona 4 out of the water. And although, like, obviously, that's kind of the best of the best in Persona 3, but a lot of the other social links also are that good. Like, you get more character arcs, and you get more of an intellectual thoughts on, like, subjects and character arcs in Persona 3, whereas Persona 4 just kind of is feel-good time all the time, and it kind of repeats itself.
Until Nanako dies.
Yeah, until Persona 4. Until Furby Nanako gets put into the hospital. And Persona 4 kind of just treats you like an idiot the whole time. Its theme message. Not all of the time, but most of the time. Whereas Persona 3 really took it seriously. And that's just the story and the characters. If we want to go into the gameplay, it does that too, because, like, obviously Persona 3 isn't that much more complicated than Persona 4, but what it does have in its combat and gameplay that Persona 4 doesn't is, honestly, changes the game a lot, because it has multiple physical resistances. It has more elemental resistances. A lot of the month bosses, like, of the moon phases, are brutally hard. Whereas a lot of the bosses in Persona 4 is, okay, figure out their one gimmick, and then you've won the fight.
Yeah, can I cut in on that, actually?
Go ahead.
Alright, yeah.
Baton pass.
We're gonna tag team this to prove that Persona 3 is better.
Yeah.
But one thing is that, again, because I didn't get to fully beat the game again, I'm not 100% sure how accurate I am, but I know just from observing and from talking to a lot of my friends that have played Persona 4, Persona 4 is, like, really, really easy in comparison to 3.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, when I said about the combat system, I think Persona 4, I would almost say that it improves straight up on the combat system by making everything a lot smoother and everything, but I almost feel like that's the issue. A part of Persona 3's combat draw was the fact that it was so easy to die, it was so unfair. Tartarus is basically like a survival, like, endurance match.
Based off of the mythology that Tartarus is based off of, well, the Greek mythology, Tartarus, which is hell. So, of course, you're going to be dying easily.
Yeah, well, not only that, but, like, I don't know, I feel like the combat in Persona 3 was way more involving, and I was way more invested just because of the difficulty. Meanwhile, I felt you could kind of glide through Persona 4's, like, whole combat thing without really thinking about it too hard beyond the basics, and I feel like that really hurts the game when that's, like, half of it. You know?
Can I cut back in on this too?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, and to add to what Zanza was saying, regular battles in Persona 3 aren't safe. Like, you can die at any moment. Like, and even if, like, the thing with Persona 4 is regular battles, 90% of the days is if you run into a new enemy, find out their weakness. Okay, once you find out their weakness, use the multi-enemy hit move of that weakness, knock them all down, and then either make them dizzy so that they don't get another turn and keep hammering on them, or all-out attack. Either way, they die that turn anyway. Meanwhile, Persona 3, you can do this for, like, what, 20% of the enemies at the start of the game, but the rest of the game, regular battles can be just as tough as boss battles. And in fact, more so that they hammer in on this, because most of the story bosses are on certain days of the year in Persona 3. The regular boss battles are on certain floors of Tartarus, and they are just bigger, slightly buffed regular enemies.
And they're horribly hard.
They're horribly hard. Like even in those regular enemy battles prior to the floor bosses, enemies will constantly change their strategies, forcing you to constantly change your strategies. And they also have enough survivability and enough variation in all of the different weaknesses that they all have in their enemy formations that you can't just use the hit of one weakness and knock them all down. You have to work for your all-out attacks in that game. And even then, all-out attacks in Persona 3 don't do as much damage as you would like, and half of the enemies resist physical damage too, because they want you to use your magic.
Can I cut in for one little thing?
Sure.
I would like to say that it's not necessarily a bad thing that the game is easier. Like, there are a lot of games that are, like, built to be more relaxing or inviting experiences. And for the themes, it definitely makes sense for Persona 3 to be gut-punchingly difficult and Persona 4 to be a lot more easier. But, like, it just kind of is a waste to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Does it get any better on expert mode? Or
Oh yeah, it gets hard. Like the thing with
Wait, for Persona 3 or 4?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
4.
It gets a little harder, but like the thing is, there's like a bunch of strategies that you can do from like the mid to late game that just trivialize non-boss fights.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then again, the bosses are basically, figure out the gimmick, and then you'll probably win as long as you like don't leave yourself open to get insta-killed.
Yeah. Whereas like the story bosses compared to Persona 3, which are like hour-long slogs that are constantly changing your and the enemy's strategy.
I would say
only
really the last one is an hour long.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the last one, I won't spoil anything, but it might be my favorite fucking RPG final boss ever.
And Zanza brought up a good point. Harder is not always better with games, but it's the in context of the series on whether or not harder is better. And in the Shin Megami Tensei series, which the Persona games, and each of the Persona games with the exception of 4, and just the Persona series in general being a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei, are known for their stupid hard difficulty. So in the case of Persona, harder is better. As long as it's
okay, well, no. Okay.
I wouldn't quite say harder is better all the time.
Yeah, okay. And at least from my perspective, since I've been quiet because I've just been wanting to hear what you guys have been saying, but at least just in my personal opinion, yes, does it go with the themes? And I can totally see where it feels more involved with, like, every enemy battle can be, you know, this threatening thing. But for me anyways, that just leads to grinding sessions that take 3 years, and then you'll die and lose all of the progress immediately. So, you know, that just leads to a lot of frustration and Tartarus grinds that take 3 years, and I don't enjoy that very much, personally.
Plus, I did have to do a fair amount of grinding to defeat the first boss of the game. Am I bad at the video game?
Okay, when you say the first boss, do you mean Yosuke, Chie, or Yukiko?
You raise a point that they all can be considered That's interesting. They can all be considered the first boss in their own special ways.
Uh-huh.
Well, which one do you mean?
I said Yukiko.
Oh, okay.
Burb Cage.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, because Yukiko has some, like, pretty strong attacks, especially with, like, your party at that point only being 3 people, and you don't have a dedicated healer. But
and there's like the prince gave me so much dang trouble.
Yeah, no, again, like at that point, and there are definitely like some moments in Persona 4 where you got to use your noodle. It's just that, like, at least if you're asking me, if the whole thing is Persona 4, if we're talking about the gameplay, Persona 4 simplified,
and also the savior boss fight was something.
Fucking Namatame is who, but
that's.
But if we're going on the whole subject of, like, you know, Persona 3, its gameplay, it has the different physical things, and you can die any moment, it's a lot tougher, and then Persona 4, baby game with simplified thing with easy. At least if you're asking me, personally, and again, this could be the Persona 4 was my first one, and thus it's my favorite. It could be that, but at the same time, I do feel like there's merit to the idea that, like, okay, yes, they simplified it to one attacking thing, and yes, at some point, some of the normal battles become a lot more trivial.
And yes, at some point, every game released after Persona 4 went back to Persona 3's way of doing it, of having the 3 separate physical weaknesses
Persona
as
5.
well.
Persona 5,
Oh.
Persona 5 really didn't do that. It just has a gun.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
they
All
have
right, well
physical
then-
gun.
Alright, well then besides Persona 5, but...
Well,
there's no
Persona
overlap
5
to
is the...
Persona 4.
Yeah, okay, yes, the
Persona
dancing
Q.
game brought back another physical attack. Yeah, no, okay.
Ooh.
Persona Q.
Okay, well, Persona Q is an
Persona
Etrian
Q.
Odyssey
Etrian
game.
Odyssey.
Persona Q.
Well, yeah,
is a
but
spin-off.
it handles its weaknesses like Persona 3.
But
Okay.
Persona
Also
Q
a
is a
spin-off.
spin-off, but it's canon.
Yeah, and also I don't like Persona Q either. Like, so that's the thing. Like, okay, so I get the whole idea that Persona, like, comparatively to Persona 3, in terms of difficulty, Persona 4 is pretty easy, which I can agree with. But, like, at least for me, what was that, all the depth with the character and the social links, yes, that is totally true of Persona 3, and a lot of the characters in Persona 3 have way more depth than the characters in Persona 4 in
Yeah, and
the
don't
way that
forget-
they're doing. But, yeah, okay, you go.
I was gonna say one thing that, like, baffles me. I hope this isn't Persona 5 because I'm currently playing that. But in Persona 4, your characters going to their next persona, they're getting their final form personas, is just, you gotta do their social link. And that's like an optional thing, and it can't affect the story too much because the whole thing is one linear story and it's on rails, and you could potentially do none of the social links for your characters. So they can't really provide much story progression. In Persona 3, characters getting their next level persona is linked to story beats, which means that all of them have character arcs, and when their character arc resolves and the character radically changes from events, then they get their new personas. And I think that's way more impactful and shows the difference in focus.
The fact
where
that they
Persona
overcame their emotional turmoil and got stronger because of it is
Yeah.
then turned into a gameplay mechanic rather than an introduction.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know. I feel like
Well, okay.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but it's more that I think it shows the difference in priorities. Persona 4 was just like going on to be like a nice fun game. You can go, oh yeah, you can go to
Well,
To add
at
to the
least-
depth of
and play the
the...
game and have fun with this your gaggle of pals.
I
Where
mean,
in Persona 3, it's a lot more of like a story with highly developed characters. Oh, even
And
then, I wouldn't say Persona 3's characters are amazing, but I think they're a lot better than Persona 4's. A lot
And
more
to
developed.
add to the additional character depth to social links in Persona 3, a lot of the time are dealing with real ass issues, like being having your photo taken without your consent and then being put onto a fashion magazine, which could get you kicked out of school and everyone treating you like a slut. The concept of death and how you're going to be dying soon. The concept of divorce and your parents fighting at a young age. The concept of having one of your single
We
parent
get it,
being
Dream. Don't worry.
dead,
Don't worry.
etc. And then you compare that to a lot of the social links in Persona 4, and it's just like, okay, you're not taking me seriously, Persona 4.
okay. Can I
Even the social links in Persona 5
What?
take
No.
me seriously.
Yeah.
can I actually continue my argument I was saying before,
Mhm.
please?
Sure.
I don't even remember where I was, but it was something along the lines of no, honestly, I can't even fucking remember. But well, now I don't even know. But in terms of in terms of the way that the characters in social, I can agree with, like, you know, in that sort of a sense, the characters all have their own arcs in Persona 3 that are separate from their introduction, whereas the character's main arc in Persona 4 is their introduction, and that is the case, but that's just a matter of kind of looking at it differently. The way that Persona 4, because I mean, I can agree with the sense where it's, in a way, it's not as impactful in a different way, but like the way that the characters are introduced in 4 is that, each of them have their shadow, which is a big part of them, a part of them they don't want to admit. And so the whole thing is that when you get to your party members, you're getting to them, you're helping them overcome this weakness, which, again, while not as, you know, a long-strung arc as some of the things like, say, Junpei or Akihiko in Persona 3 have, it's not as long or as like that with, like, everything with them. It is, like, the main crux of getting them onto your team. And so you get it, you help them overcome this weakness, and then, okay, then their sort of, like, little mini arc introduction is over, and then the rest of the social link, and that is, you know, continue helping them work through this thing, or, like, work through other things. Like, it's not just this character arc, it continues on afterwards.
Help them find themselves.
Yeah, like, they've gotten over their big problems, and now you've gotta, now you continue being their friend, continue getting to know them, and now that you've gotten through these big trials and tribulations, you can, you know, continue the relationship onward from there, and what happens to them from after they've resolved their problems. Maybe it comes back to haunt them, maybe all this stuff, you know? And
yeah, I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad, I'm just saying I don't think it's as good as it could have been.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not good as it could have been, and it's not as good as the actual arcs going through their emotions like in 3, in my opinion. Also, remember when this was supposed to be my segment and thoughts on the game? Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I think it kind of just morphed into the general discussion.
It morphed into the general debate at the end, and I'll do a little summarization. I also think it's fine. But, like, my main problem with Persona 4 is until the very last story arc with the last 2 dungeons, and take me seriously, both in gameplay and in story and in characters, and I don't like that. Whereas Persona 3, a lot of the time, throughout the entire game, takes me seriously with pretty much every character except Koromaru, who, honestly, Koromaru's story arc kind of was the starter of how they handled the story arcs in Persona 4, because if you don't notice, in Persona 3, emotional turmoil and overcoming it is what makes your persona evolve. Koromaru's persona is already evolved by the time you recruit him, and his emotional turmoil was his owner dying, meaning Koromaru is more mature than anyone in the fucking dog is.
The dog, of course.
Yeah,
but
again,
that was like kind of led into how they handled things in Persona 4. Which again is why it's not a bad thing, but it's not the most optimal way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think necessarily, like, not every game needs to be like a serious, gritty, like, existential view of fucking life. Like,
I'm glad that you bring that up, because
I don't think
Persona 5 wasn't either, and it did it much better than anything Persona 4 does.
Wait, I just thought of something. How does the dog summon his persona? Does someone shoot him?
They give him a gun collar.
Oh, okay.
He has a collar that's also a gun.
Wait, that took a second to sink in. Okay.
Gun collar.
Okay.
Also, he wields knives in his mouth.
He's great. He's a good boy.
Diamond dog.
He's a very good boy, and he can do, like, front flips 50 feet into the air.
His persona's like Cerberus or something.
Yeah, it's Cerberus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am...
And,
curious about a general thing of the game, if I may.
Sure.
What is it?
Everyone's favorite character.
Yosuke.
Ooh, right.
Can I finish my thing before we get into the favorite?
I think we're basically done.
Oh no, I still got like one more thing.
We'll still be talking. We have like the rest of the discussion to talk.
Yeah. So, but another thing that like adds to the concept of the 3 physical weakness thing that they have, it gives more merit to the characters you bring with you. Because you look at Persona 4, and, like, yeah, you can bring Kanji along, but between the main character having thunder and there being nothing, like, no weapon weaknesses in that game, you don't ever have to bring Kanji with you anywhere, and you would never suffer ever. But in Persona 3, he would have a bash element for his regular attack, and that automatically makes him useful. you would bring him to more situations because of that bash mechanic being weak or strong or weaker against. It gives more importance to your party members and bringing them along rather than just having Kanji sit back and do nothing the entire game. So it gives them more importance. It makes you have to strategize more and think harder about who you want to bring with you, and it makes every one of your party members useful, regardless of how useless.
I mean, except for when they're really underleveled, and so you gotta grind for another 3 hours, and it's really annoying.
Hey,
Yeah.
I never said Persona 3 is perfect.
Yeah,
I
know.
never said Persona 3 is perfect, and that's also an issue with Persona 4.
Well,
I don't think the grinding thing's nearly as much of an issue.
In Persona 4, no, and that's partially because you can go through the game mostly with a singular party. But no, as someone who has played through 3, 4, and 5, I mean, there's a reason why at multiple instances during 3, I'm like, I just can't play it anymore because there's so much fucking grinding, and if you die, and it's so easy to die, like you were saying, every battle's a struggle, and that's great in its own right, but also you'll die in these 3 hours of progress.
Wait,
I will let you have that argument.
Wait, you grinded?
Yeah.
I maybe grinded once for like an hour.
I will give you that argument, Austin, because there have been many times that I'm grinding for like 2 hours or so, or like I think 1 hour max, if we're talking realistically, to take on the next floor boss, and then I get killed, and I don't play the game for him. So I will give you that argument. I never said Persona is perfect.
Alright. Cause like, for me,
I
just want to say...
the difficult... Sorry to interrupt, but I'll let you talk in a minute. I just want to say a couple more things. But with the whole being able to die so easily thing, that gives every battle more important. It gives a sense of urgency to every battle, and it makes every battle feel important, rather than just, oh, I died, this is minor inconvenience.
Because, like, for me... maybe this is just how I play games, but instead of, like, stopping to grind, I would just, like, try fusing a bunch of new personas and trying out new, like, team compositions. And I rarely ever had to grind. If I, like... maybe it's just me, but, like, before I grind, I spend, like, hours trying out a bunch of, like, new weird things and fusing new personas and trying to come up with new strategies. And so I rarely ever had to grind in Persona 3. And that's just how I play games. I understand other people play it differently, and maybe I got lucky, but like that's how I experience the game. So I don't think grinding is nearly as much of a problem as it's made out to be. Yeah. Especially because Persona 3's I'm not going to talk about it because Persona 3 is a different game and we're talking about Persona 4.
And that's the one thing I was going to say, because obviously a lot of the discussion has been handled by you, Dream, and Zanza. When I finally am like, all right, I just want to say what I actually love about Persona 4. I want to talk about Persona 4 obviously a lot, and not just its comparisons to 3 and 5, but I would love to do that. But the thing is that I also have things as to reasons why I prefer it to 3, which I will get into when that's appropriate. But I also do like Sylvia's suggestion of best character. So before I talk about my stuff, I just want to say Yosuke is my favorite, but if we're talking about in terms of the best, it's probably either Naoto or Kanji. So
yeah, I'm about to do my little summarization of my game. Persona 4, it's filled with a lot of good times and a lot of good moments, and it's more about the good moments than the main story until like the very end, once you get to the hospital with Nanako. Up until that point, the entire game's based around its moments, and with me being a big Earthbound fan, it would be hypocritical of me to say that because it's focused on the moments rather than the story, it makes it bad. That's not what makes it bad. I just prefer Persona 3's more heavier story and how much more seriously it takes me, both in gameplay, story, and character, as to Persona 4. Persona 4 isn't a bad game per se, it's just in comparison to 3 and 5, I don't think it's as good as the other two, while still being a good game on it.
I don't think like games should be able to stand up on their own. Like, you can criticize it without like comparing it to the others.
Yeah, I agree, but like I played Persona 3 first, obviously, and even then I still think Persona 5 is better than both 3 and 4 combined. But I'm gonna have to give Persona 4 a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Probably 6.
Oh, 6, alright.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's good. It's just there are better alternatives in my opinion, and I prefer those.
So,
Alright.
so can we get to the characters like Sylvia
Yes,
asked
can we
about?
actually
Like,
talk about the game?
can we
I'm
actually
sorry.
like Sylvia said like 10 minutes ago? Like, come on,
Yeah, please, Dream. Please.
please.
Hey, you were extending it as long as I was.
Was I really?
I was
No,
I was
doing
talking to Zanza. I
nothing.
was talking to Zanza.
Hey, I was trying to move it on to general discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for taking so long. I had a lot of thoughts. I'm done.
Okay, well, we
Okay.
still have to talk about the game, the rest of the game,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah.
Anyway, as Sylvia was saying, do you want to start off, Sylvia, with it, or?
I'll let someone else go
Okay,
first.
well, I'll go first because I actually want to talk about Persona 4 and why I like it, as opposed to getting, just like struck in the heart multiple times.
As
Yeah,
opposed to
booty
being
blasted.
like, so let's talk about Persona 3. It's
yeah.
better.
So,
Hey,
anyway.
I only mentioned Persona 3
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 times.
I know. Anyway, again, if we're talking about characters in terms of like actually like them, I feel like Naoto and Kanji, at least of the party members, are definitely like the strongest. Chie's a good contender is up there as well. But I'm not sure like overall if I'd say he's the best. But Yosuke's easily my favorite just because, like, well, for one, he's like he's the Yuri Lowenthal voice. Like, he is the one that it's Yosuke. Everyone says, because that's the Yuri Lowenthal. That's him right there.
It's his most known role, yeah.
Yeah,
And honestly, with the kind of person Yuri Lowenthal is, it is the Yuri Lowenthal character.
It is the Yuri Lowenthal character. Yosuke, he just, in terms of how he is and how he relates to your character, he's super present, he's always there. And personally, I can relate to that fucker so much, and he's like one of my favorite characters that have ever existed, and I just want to give him a hug.
Okay. So, Yosuke is a fun time, but I want to bring up a small complaint that I have. It rears its ugly head, especially in the hotel segment, where you try to be the voice of reason, but everyone else is such a fucko.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
Hey,
but what if
Sylvia.
we do this thing? Yes, I'm getting to that, Zanza.
No, I was gonna say, Sylvia, does this personally relate to how you feel as Yuri?
Yes! It does! As a matter of fact, it does. And I was going to bring it into a good little joke and everything, but no. The one time that I think I can make a decent joke about Persona 4, you come and ruin it.
Hey, I thought you were gonna say something else about, like, a thing in it.
So Yosuke's
My
pretty
favorite
great, I love
character is
him.
Kanji.
Yeah, Yosuke's pretty. I like him.
These are some pretty cool Yosuke's.
This is pretty cool, Yosuke.
Yeah.
Kanji's the best character in Persona 4. Don't fight me.
Again, Kanji's
But-
Yeah,
pretty great.
Kanji's a pretty good waifu.
Yeah. Also, I know.
You know-
oh yeah, you go, Sylvia. You go.
Well, I'd rather you guys go because it's about my favorite character, which to everyone in here is fairly obvious.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, and I
wonder.
mean, she's my second favorite character, so that's the thing.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
I thought Chie was your second favorite.
No, Naoto is. Naoto's my second favorite, but
Yeah. My favorite is Naoto.
yeah, but the only reason that Naoto isn't my favorite is because Yosuke is like my child. But the thing is that before we get into Kanji, Naoto, Yosuke, Chie, any of that anymore than we already have, I just want to bring this one up because I know it's very divisive, but I love Teddy and people can fight me.
Okay,
Out.
thank you for. I have one more complaint of
You mean
Persona
good
4 I would like
Monokuma?
to file. I have one more complaint, and that's Teddy. Teddy in the first half of the game is amazing. I love him. He's my child. He's my spirit animal. As soon as he gets a body, he becomes fucking grape diaper baby from My Hero Academia that no one likes, and I hate him. And that's all Teddy is in all of the spin-offs now. Teddy in the second half of the game and in every spin-off is Mineta
Hajime,
from My Hero
are you
Academia.
sure that's
And
what
I hate
ruined
that
Teddy?
character, and I hate Teddy.
Okay.
I love Teddy.
But
You could say I find him unbearable.
I find him
Yosuke-
disparable, personally.
Yosuke's trash, and he's
Well, yes, he is,
fun
but he's
and
also my favorite.
special.
Because
Yeah, I
Yosuke's
know.
trash, but he's our trash.
Disco Ninja Frog.
yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna diss my boy? What do you have?
Yeah.
What's your problem with my boy? Okay.
I
What a
don't
fight.
have a problem.
Zanza, I'm sorry, but
No. Let me say. My thing is, I don't have a problem with him, but I also don't have anything good to say. I don't have anything to say about Yosuke.
Oh, that's even fucking worse.
Oh,
yeah.
But that's even worse.
Zanza, I was all on board the Lynch Austin train this episode, but now I'm with Austin. I need to lynch your ass.
I mean, sorry.
You guys,
but no.
you guys think that I ain't for lynching half the people here quite lit?
Yeah,
Well, then let's start
you're gonna
with
kill
Zanza.
me and Dream, and you're gonna because he'll play nice as long as he's not exposed to the toxic halogens that are me and Dream.
I mean, to be fair, it's true, you know.
Can we just talk about? Can we just for a second talk
I don't
about
like
how
that.
Yosuke and Kanji, both their characters and their relationship is literally me and Austin?
I hate it.
Can we just acknowledge that for a second?
Sure, it's been acknowledged.
It has been acknowledged. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up the whole Teddy thing because I know a lot of because I know Dream for one hates Teddy, at least second half of the game Teddy, because if I don't mention that, he'll go on another 3-minute rant about how first game Teddy is amazing. But I love Teddy, and yes, when he gets a body, does he become a lot more girl crazy? Most certainly he does. But for one, I feel like that's just sort of a I feel like that's just sort of like how
I mean,
he's trying to
listen,
get involved in like what's going on. He wants to be a human, and when there's all these constant talking about scoring, and then Yukiko and Chie and Kanji and Rise, like all of them have very like there are sexual undertones to all of their shadows, and you expect Teddy to be like, so this is what humans are like, and not try and emulate it, like I
That's
don't know.
true.
I guess, but does that
And
excuse it?
you reminded
Fair
me
enough,
of
but
my
as
hatred
Zanza
of
said, does that excuse it? No. I hate diaper babies.
I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with Teddy in specifically, especially once I was told that in Persona 4, not the Golden, his voice actor is the same as Monokuma,
Yeah.
so every appearance of his was just like doubled.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
Should I?
You were
Do we
mentioning
wanna-
well before you do Naoto, you were mentioning Rise.
Okay, I hate Rise, honestly,
Oh, thank
with
God.
a burning passion.
Why? I'm serious.
Okay.
I don't understand why people hate Rise.
Same here.
Okay. For me, the issue is that her personality is that she's in love with the protagonist, and she doesn't like being famous. She doesn't like being
That's it.
seen.
That's all she has.
Yeah, that's
What?
it.
I mean, you say that, but first of all, I think that's a really big simplification, and you can do that about literally any character in any story.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
But two,
understand
her
that,
character
but
arc
it-
has her whole character thing is about her identity, and how that interacts with like modern technology, and that's like closer to the themes of the game than like any other character.
And yet that's all she is. They don't ever elaborate or build off of it or utilize that in any way. It's
What do you mean?
always just, I'm in love with the main protagonist and I don't like being famous. When they first introduce her and she's struggling with living a normal life and she has very crippling depression, she has more character then than when you first resolve that and you have her on your team.
I mean, I feel like it's more that she's trying to move past it, not
Yeah.
that it's just gone.
Exactly.
It's like when someone's trying to put on a really, really like peppy, excited, flirtatious like persona and get it, in order to like try to deal with and hide from their issues.
Yeah.
That's how I
But
saw
they
it.
never build off of that.
I mean,
They never say that. They never utilize it.
I mean,
and
they do
never
that with
build
like
off
every
of it.
character, though.
Yeah,
And personally,
they
I feel
do.
like if you read between the lines,
Yeah,
they kind of do.
exactly.
They just don't do it like explicitly.
Yeah, they
and
don't
with bravado.
explicitly mention things, but I mean, if you just look at the way she does things, and I mean, the same thing goes for like doing her social link and stuff. Like, it's been a while since I've done Rise's social link, so I don't remember the exact details, but like, I mean, like she does. I mean, it does go into stuff like that, kind of, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's just a matter of It's one of those things where, like, if we're talking about, like, overall, if we're ranking the party members of P4, I do think she's near the bottom, but I don't hate her or anything. Like, she's not, I don't hate any of them. If anything, the one I like the least is Yukiko, simply because I think she's boring, but, like...
Yeah,
I
get it.
I'll drink
Yeah, I
to
can agree with
that.
that.
I'll drink to that.
I get that, but also I like Yukiko because I like girls, and I'm a useless and hopeless lesbian.
Has anyone ever said anything that's more true?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, is that I agree with that, but, like, more
She's
so on...
cute, damn it.
But more so on the level of all of the other P4 girls. So...
Yeah. I think she's probably the least cute.
Which is funny, because her whole thing is that she's the most popular and pretty girl at the school.
Honestly, they all suck except Naoto, in my opinion.
Now,
You've already... Wait, dude. You've gone on length about Chie. What?
Dude, you want to know why I hate Chie? It's the voice they gave her in Golden and Onward.
I mean, I feel like if you started with that voice, you would find no problem.
Oh no, that one voice, and the fact that after Golden and all of the spin-offs, her entire character falls into the same trap that they use Akihiko for, which is protein, steak, protein. Both her character and her voice became unbearable. In Golden, at least, she still has her character, but the voice ruins everything about her.
Well,
I feel like that's an exaggeration. I feel like the voice, in a way, adds to her character as, like, kind of the weird girl at school.
Yeah, she's like, she's super, like the thing is that, like, she's tough in a sense, but she's still super dorky. Like, that's the thing.
Well, regardless of that, they can do that without, they can still give her a voice that emphasizes that without making my ears bleed the entire game.
Well, I'm sorry you have baby eardrum dreams.
I'm sorry.
I know. I mean, like, the thing is that I know there's a lot of people that hate the new Chie voice, and I just don't see it. That's the thing.
I don't either.
Like, because I can
But
totally understand preferring the old Chie voice. That's just a matter of preference. But, like, it's like the new Chie voice to me isn't ear bleeding unless you're playing BB Tag. So
Yeah.
Counter.
I think it's just the voice actor because I've mentioned Austin
let's
before.
not talk about Shaboom.
I've mentioned the character before, but her golden voice actor also voices a character in .hack GU, and I hate that character's voice as well. I think it's just the voice actress's voice that I hate.
And I like her, so you know what? Meh.
Yeah, girl pretty.
Also, Chie's good, and I love her. I named my dog Chie for fucking God's sake. Like, my dog is named Chie. I'm not even joking.
Wow,
Okay.
and you didn't name it Yosuke?
Well, no, because here's the thing. When we were going, this was like, alright, very quick side tangent before we get to Naoto and how great she is. But,
Yeah.
like, when it was like a holiday thing and my mom was like, you know what, for the holidays, I think we're gonna get a dog. And so me and my sister were like, and so we went and we were seeing the dogs and they were at this breeder's house and he was probably treating them horribly. And so, there were two sisters there. At least they don't look anything alike, but apparently they're sisters. And so the whole thing was like, oh, we were only gonna get one, but we didn't want to separate the sisters. And so I already knew I have to name this one Chie because, like, you know, she has the brown hair, she's super rambunctious and all this shit, and also I love Persona 4, and so I want to name her Chie. And I wanted to name the other sister Yukiko, but my mom's like, hey, your sister gets to name one, so her name is Cupid. But, and I mean, I still like Cupid as a name, and she's a great dog, but we have Chie and Cupid.
Aw. Well, now can we get to the best character by
Sure.
Before that, we should talk about Yukiko's character. She's wearing a kimono.
Yukiko Amagi is wearing a kimono.
They work at.
Yeah, Yukiko Amagi is wearing a kimono because she's filling in for her mom at the inn they run. There's a girl.
Okay, we've established Yukiko's entire character.
There's a girl wearing a kimono on TV, but you can't think of anyone that fits that description.
So anyway, Naoto.
You would say that, but you don't have
Not
enough common sense.
common sense?
Yeah, Hi, I'm Daisy. Persona 4 comic dub is something that literally everyone needs to see if you have not seen it, so
I mean,
It's
anyone who's
fantastic.
played or knows of Persona 4 is
But in case you haven't, you need to.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So anyway,
Daddy's got some criminals down red. And by the way, sorry to interrupt
Literally-
one more time, Sylvia.
No, I want to say
Yeah.
one other thing very
Yeah.
quickly. In the Hayam JC comic, drunk Dojima and Nanako is literally the best thing ever.
It is.
It's only second to Murder Adachi, who I relate to on a spiritual
The
level.
best-
Nanako.
I love
Why, Nanako? Why?
The
Why
best-
are you
the best
staring
part-
at me with those childlike
The
eyes?
best part is that man who voices Dojima is also the Skullgirls announcer, so you'll never be able to unhear it.
oh my god, that's beautiful.
But the thing is that with with the Nanako and Dojima thing, there's the like thing where it's like world's best son. Wow, this is a great shirt. It has a funny design. But there's that one and one line from Persona 4 Hayam Daisy that I think I quote way too much for my own good, especially with Danganronpa now a thing being, "Aw man, but I love dead bodies." And I say it all the fucking time. Anyway, now we can talk about Naoto.
Okay, so Naoto's persona's the best. Naoto's freaking character's the best. She looks heckin' adorable. She's the reason why I'm a lesbian. She isn't, but I'm saying it for a joke.
I love her. She's great.
Yeah, her design is great. Her persona is like mega overpowered, but like I don't think that's again, considering the rest of the game, I don't think that's necessarily like a major strike. You know,
I know that
that's the feel it's going
I know
for.
they changed her in I forget, like I'm pretty sure the way it was is that in the original Persona 4, like it was either that her persona was really busted or really weak, and then in Golden they made it so it wasn't whichever one it was.
Yeah, it was busted.
think it was
because there
busted.
It was hella busted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, because like I don't know if this is the specific strategy, but I do know one that a friend told me about is where you can spam her really high hit rate light and dark moves, and then Risei will give you SP back, so you can do that for every fight.
Yeah.
You
And
can
just
also do
grind
the
through.
same. You can also do the exact same strategy, but with her almighty attacks.
Yeah, and they nerfed her
Yeah.
in Golden then and made her not like
That's fine
unfair
though.
to use.
Bam.
But yeah, like blue's my favorite color. Her design is amazing. Her
Her
persona
design
is
is
super
adorable.
strong, and she's one of the best party members because of how busted she is. Her personality is fun. Naoto is just good in every way.
I
To
love
be honest, she reminded me a lot of like a Persona 3 character. Maybe that's why I.
Yeah, honestly, same.
And yeah, and she also like struggles with who she's perceived as compared to who she wants
So
to
she does
be.
Risei better than Risei.
I mean, I don't think she does it
sorta.
better, to be honest. When it comes to that, I feel like she tackles like a different angle.
Yeah, no,
of it.
it's
I don't think she
definitely a
does-
Yeah,
different subject.
It's a different angle. but-
Because it's a very different subject in terms of like, because like the whole thing with Risei is that Risei's held up on this pedestal and she has these expectations placed upon her because she's a
Yeah, well,
celebrity.
not-
but then
Yeah, and not only that, but like she's being defined by so many people
Yeah.
that she doesn't know which one is her true identity.
Yes,
Like there
meanwhile,
are multiple
yeah.
different factions that I say no.
yeah,
Because of that, she's unable to decide which one is her, and so she's experiencing like a complete identity crisis where
Mhm.
she doesn't know who she is,
Yeah.
which makes her decision to be like a flirtatious kind of really excited girl like. It's like it's something that she's choosing to be personally fulfilling from her personalities that she has to choose
yeah.
from.
And meanwhile, Naoto's whole thing is that the world that she wants to be a part of is a world that she is not taken seriously in, which is, you know, she wants to be able to be taken seriously, whether it's being viewed as an adult, which is why her whole thing is like her like why her persona and her shadow is like, you know, with the really long lab coat, because she feels like she's being viewed as a child. She pretends to be like a boy for like the beginning of the game because she feels like that'll get people to take her more seriously, and that's like her whole thing. Like she wants to be taken seriously in this world that she feels passionate for, but always feels like she's being looked down on.
Yeah, and also
she has a revolver, which is really cool. And anyone who knows me
the
knows I like
revolver is hilarious.
She has the best critical hit. Fucking
That too.
Yeah,
animation.
and
Are
in
you-
the
are you
fighting games
sure?
for insta kill.
Austin, because Chie can galactic punt a tank.
That's not the critical thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about her when she gets a critical hit on her standard physical attack, and she just walks forward shooting the gun and then kicks you.
Oh, yeah, no, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, also, don't forget that Naoto's astral finish in the fighting games is great, because it's literally just, she pulls out an actual gun and shoots you and murders you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that I love is just like, I'm using a sword, I'm using a knife, I'm using a chair, I'm using a gun.
Yeah.
And she just shoots people. And it's just hilarious to see. Like, when you're doing the rush thing, it's hilarious to see whack, 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 shoot gun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love her.
And yeah, she's just very cool overall. This is like a very small thing that really kind of bothers me. This is just like a minor thing in I guess it's a minor thing. I just want to bring it up because it always bothers me with Naoto in terms of her social link in Persona 4. It's a very small thing, but with Naoto, more so than any of the other party members, she has very specific flags if you want to date her, which of course I do because she's the best. But the thing is that for her social link, if you want to date her, there's one particular thing when she's basically like, letting loose all of her emotions to you when she's talking about like, it's something as like, like with what I want to be, like, am I able to be a woman or something like, it's something along those lines. And your options are like, no, I like you the way you are. You should be who you want to be. Or I like you as a girl. And, the nice response and the one that makes sense, as a person is, I like you the way you are. You should like be you. But if you want to date her, you have to say you like her as a girl, which makes me really mad. It makes me very mad. But that's just a very small thing.
But no,
I just like if you want to be a good person, it's the same thing with like, and I get like there's the whole thing in like Japan where like hugging is viewed as a much more intimate thing between like non-family members than it is like in the States, for instance. But there's this part in Risei's social link where like she's like crying, and your options are ignore her or hug her to comfort her, and if you comfort her, then you start dating her. Like,
honestly, in every social link, regardless of character or if they're a party member or not, Persona 4 would be a million times better if there was a punch button. Because, like, 90%...
Oh, you mean like in Danganronpa V3?
Like, because 90% of the people you deal with, in both the characters you're bonding with and the people who are in their social links that you have to deal with in order to bond with them, honestly, they all deserve to be punched in the face.
I mean, the only one that gets punched in the face is Yosuke because you agreed to do a run, tackle, and punch each other in the face.
The one person who does not deserve to be punched in the face is the only one that gets punched in the face.
Are you saying that Kanji deserves to get punched?
No.
Okay, good.
The best,
all of Yukiko's stalkers, that social link would have been better if you could beat them up.
And
all of Risei's stalkers would have been better if you could beat them up.
Mm-hmm.
All of the bullies bullying Chie's friends would be better if you could beat them up. The game would just be better if you could just go around punching.
But do you know what's really great in that final social link with Yosuke when you punch each other by the lake and then like lay at the lake for like the next minute talking about how much you love each other? There's the part where at the very end you can hug Yosuke and he's just like, dude, that's for girls.
Well, the thing is, again, like obviously you know this, Austin, but originally in the game they were going to have Yosuke dateable regardless of gender. Like, he was going to be a romanceable character, no matter what, and a lot of the voice lines are still in the original game's code.
Including Yuri Lowenthal ones.
Yeah, including Yuri Lowenthal lines, but they removed it last minute for whatever reason, and it shows that it was removed last minute. Yosuke Hanamura is such a flamboyant bisexual, it is ridiculous.
I love him.
But they don't let you
women,
date
dude.
I like women.
Man, I'm upset they didn't make Kanji dateable though.
Yeah,
Kanji's
yeah, that's the whole thing with Kanji.
Well,
it's
again, with something people tend to forget with his shadow that pisses me off is it's not that Kanji's gay. The reason why his shadow was the way it was is because, again, that's the way people perceived Kanji. Because he was always sewing, people perceived him as, like, feminine and, like, girly and a woman, when Kanji was he just sews because he grew up in a seamstress shop. So he was like, all right, fine. If that's how people are going to view me, I don't give a shit. I'm my own person. But people tend to think he's gay because of his shadow when he's not.
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
Oh,
and Mad Pat didn't do any help with that either.
Yeah.
I thought it was more that his whole thing is that in order to hide it, he shows himself as, but he himself is worried that it's all a front.
I mean, that's part of it.
That's like it's sort of being unsure about his own identity, because everyone else around him doesn't view him as feminine. They view him as like a
scary monster man.
Yeah, yeah, that.
Paraphrasing, but get bent.
Yeah, no, that's another large part of it that I forgot to mention.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. It's all like multifaceted, because that's the thing. Like a lot of the character arcs that the Persona characters have are during their in Persona 4 anyway, are during their introductions. And sure, in terms of like a grand connection to the story, it might not be as impactful overall in terms of like, you know, hey, this is like the death thing. If we're going back to Persona 3 really quickly,
again,
but it's just a matter. It's a different way of doing it.
I don't know.
Not
I just
so much
feel like
trying
they're
to
very
go for
impactful, very like. I don't know. I just don't think they're that good. Like they're not that original.
It's
or
less.
Done.
I'm actually going to defend Austin here with this argument this time, because again, it's less that they're going for the story or the game's main theme, whereas Persona 3, that's what they were going for with the characters. In Persona 4, they want to get their character introductions and their arcs out of the way at the start. One, so you know the character, and two, so they can get to the individual moments that make the game. Which
Do you want to die?
Which again, as an Earthbound fan, if I said that made the game bad, I would be such a hypocrite.
Yeah, because and again, this
I don't think that makes the game bad, but I feel like they're not anything to.
I mean, and again, this could be contributing to the whole, like, as we were saying earlier, the whole Persona 4 is like a slice of life thing, But, like, at least, like, again, as someone who's played 3, 4, and 5, I mean, sometimes the Phantom Thieves in 5 get close, but, like, the Persona 4 group actually feels like a friend group. Like,
it is the most realistic portrayal of a friend group I've ever seen. And it makes it so much easier to implement yourselves into the characters.
Yeah.
Again, with the whole Austin, Yosuke, Ni Kanji thing that we mentioned earlier. That Persona 3, Persona 3, they don't even try to, because that's not the point of the game. And they're all just a bunch of different people coming together to save the world. They don't care about each other that much. Persona 5 tried, but failed to do it in the same way that Persona.
Yeah, and that's partially because of the way that, like, it just depends.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think relatability is like a good thing. I think that's like, and that's okay. That's like a neutral thing. That's fun to talk about outside. But I don't think relatability is necessarily like a quality.
I mean, like, again, I'm not even saying it necessarily.
I understand people view things differently.
Yeah.
Like, maybe my thoughts are pretty extreme, but I don't care about relatability.
Yeah,
I disagree. I'd say it depends on the story, but a lot of the time, the more relatable a character is, the more human they are. The more human they are, the better character they are. Obviously, this isn't the case for everything, but...
I'm glad you added that last caveat, because I was going to go on a spurred rampage.
But I feel like in Persona 4 it is the case, because it makes them feel more real.
Yeah, because the whole thing with Persona 4 is that, like, more so than Seige, or more so than the Phantom Thieves, it really feels like, okay, you know, we're getting together, we're forming this friend group, and yeah, we're trying to solve the mystery of the murders in Inaba, but also at the same time, we're being friends, and it feels more so like that than any of the other games. Because, like, in Persona 5, there are, like, 2 or so moments where you get the things that are almost on the same level as P4's antics, and like, for Persona 3, there's a couple of things like that as well. But Persona 4 takes so much time to develop, like, the relationship between these characters that, like, if at least from what I've played and how I felt.
Well, like, they do, but I still think it's pretty, like, shallow. I
mean, sure. I mean, could they have gone
like,
more...
They showcase it a lot, and so like you get to experience it more, but I don't think it's very like complicated or interesting. I still think
Something
it's
I
pretty
feel
shallow.
like all of us are forgetting to mention is there's a reason why all of that's the case is because in Persona 4 there's no one in the party or related to the heroes that knows anything that's going on or that can lead them or teach them about anything.
Mm-hmm.
In Persona 3 they have an adult figure and they have like adults like and a leader, and they have things saying, okay, this is the why things are and we have to resolve it. They have people to look to. Same thing with Persona 5 and the Phantom Thieves. They have Mona. Mona knows what's going on. Mona knows what's happening, and Mona can lead them and give them the information they need.
Yeah.
And Mona's the person that they can look to.
And even
Persona 4, they don't have that. They're just a bunch of dumbass kids trying to catch a murderer with superpowers.
And the closest thing they have, to that is Dojima, who in a sense is against them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they're just a bunch of teenagers trying to solve this murder spree that's happening here, and at the same time trying to live their teenage lives, because, you know, especially with Protag-kun not being there for very long. He's there for a year. They're making the most of it, and that's the same thing with, you know, all of them. And again, like, I can understand where you're coming from, Zanza.
All of them except Minato, because Minato...
Well, okay,
Minato was gonna stay there, but...
Well, hey, in case there's someone who hasn't played P3.
I know, I wasn't gonna say what happens.
Okay, but the thing is that I can see where you're coming from, Zanza, where it's like, the whole friend group thing is nice, but, you know, it's not the most deep as it could be, and that doesn't translate directly to a good plot overall. And I'm not saying that it does, because I can agree with you in that sense that, like, a lot of P4's, like, mystery aspects are either very basic or, like, you know, it kind of what you were saying, it goes from, like, thing to things and pulls out the rug, and I'm not saying it is perfect. But if you're viewing it from the mindset of, let's watch this friend group develop and also try and solve this murder, I mean, not even a matter of relatability, it's just a different kind of thing, and I think... like,
I guess. Yeah. Like, I will say that overall, like, this is why I gave it a 6 out of 10 instead of, like, a 5 or a 4, because I do understand that my preferences are different from, like, other people's preferences, and, like, it's just not... That's just not the story for me. That's not what I'm
like,
interested in.
I was about to say, like, as I said earlier, Persona 4 isn't trying to do a plot. It's more about the moments in between, and it's not until the end of the game where they realize, okay, we have to give a conclusion, that they try to do a plot and stop with the whole moments and good times. And yeah, for some people like Austin and me, that can make a really good game and a really good story with a lot of good moments and is considered good. But if that's not what you prefer from a game, if you prefer hard story like Persona 3, like you, Zanza, it's not going to end up being a very good plot or story.
Yeah, like I said earlier,
Persona 4 story comes down to preference.
Yeah, like I said before, Persona 4 is the slice of life anime, and hey, there's a big market for slice of life anime. It's just not for me.
And actually, since we're on the note of the mystery and stuff with Persona 4, I want to ask you, Sylvia, did you know Adachi was the killer before you played the game?
Heck no.
Okay, you are the first person I've ever met that did not know Adachi was the killer before playing the game.
I didn't know Adachi was the killer before playing the game, but I played the game when I was like 8.
Okay, well then, I guess you're the first person besides Dream who I didn't remember telling me. Because, like, I knew Adachi was the killer before playing, so, like, there's that part of it, so I don't know how it would have been without that. But, that's just the thing, like, Adachi being the killer is it's one of those game plot things like Zelda and Sheik. That's kind of a thing that everyone knows at this point. So, like...
Well, like, when it was first
Except
done,
me,
it was such a U-turn that no one, like, would have ever guessed. But after it's released, now it's like a Sheik.
Yeah, and it helps that Adachi's a really fun character.
Yeah, a weird thing is the fact that...
Adachi's fun.
A weird thing is the fact that I relate to both versions of Adachi so much. I don't know why, but Adachi, like, obviously, I'm not a killer. Like, don't call the cops. Trust me.
I mean, you're
Monokuma.
You're
Monokuma.
You're Junko Enoshima.
Monokuma isn't a serial killer. He's a headmaster. But no, I don't know. I thought he was hilarious at the start, and
He
then when
was.
he goes murdery, it's like those
He's
two
a
aspects.
lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess in that part I related.
I
thought he was-
love both Adachi's, and I thought, again, both of them were very relatable. And similarly, that's honestly why I don't like it.
Don't
as
say
much-
anything! Ah!
Never mind. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, you bitch. Bitch.
I'll talk
Sylvia.
about that off air then.
Well, not even off air. Dream. How many times have we told you about Zanza in Persona 5?
I'm so glad I didn't hear what he said then. I was listening to the Monokuma theme.
Good. Dream. He hasn't finished Persona 5.
That's why I've shut up.
I haven't finished Persona 5 either, but you know, you already spoiled the fact that Teddy.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, he has. I've come to expect it from him.
Yes, I have too. But the
I'm
point
sorry.
the point is though
This
that
is your nature dream.
Yeah.
You'll never be.
Hold on, let me move to my main PC so I can post the Cyberman.
Anyway, while he's doing that, I was just gonna say, by the way, one of the most underrated Persona 4 dialogue lines comes from Adachi. By the way, I love the fact that both he and you are voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, and which connects to the whole both of you having Izanagi. But
Yeah.
anyway, one of the most underrated, at least in my opinion, lines in all of Persona 4 comes from Adachi when he's having like the dinner with Nanako and Dojima, and you walk in and you're all like, "Ooh, he's here," and he just goes, "Hey, we just got a bunch of eel. Caution, it's from the supermarket." And I love that line so much.
I think my favorite line from the game is, "Oh, so what you're saying is, please beat the shit out of me, Kanji."
Yeah. No, I never said it was my
Kanji's
favorite. I just said it was the
great.
most underrated line.
Yeah. Oh no, my favorite line is, "Who wants to talk about
Murders.
That's from Hi, I'm Daisy, though.
Yeah, that's the
Zanza
joke.
isn't a serial killer.
Yeah, trust me, I'm a bear."
Can you think of anything else that starts with F?
Mistake?
Mistake.
Which was added into Persona 4 Golden, by the way.
Yeah.
Was.
And another cool thing about Persona 4 Golden, while we're on the topic of Adachi, is the Adachi ending that you can get in Golden, which is really fun. Where you team up with Adachi, and then and then the final line is, "So we gonna do this, partner?" And it's like, ooh,
Ooh.
Right, in Golden or the fighting games?
Golden.
Oh fuck, I don't actually know about
Wait, what?
Yeah, in Persona 4 Golden, there's a
Enlighten me.
route where you can team up with Adachi, and basically he kind of takes the place of Yosuke, and the last line is something along the lines of like, "So are we gonna do this, partner?" You know, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's
he becomes your
haunting.
best buddy,
Yeah.
and you can actually burn all evidence that would have pointed to Adachi.
Mm-hmm.
It's the accomplice ending, and it's actually really cool, and I love it.
that. Yeah, too bad it's
Sounds
not
the part.
official.
Yeah, I mean it's not canon, but you know it.
Too bad it's not canon. Zanza isn't a serial killer.
Oh man.
I'm just getting more and more suspicious as the days go by. So put me
Well, you
higher on your hit
shouldn't,
list.
because I'm a perfectly average bear, and you are very...
Yeah, but just another couple of things that we should mention, just because we haven't mentioned it. I mean, if you've heard anything about Persona, you've probably heard about the music, and of course how it's amazing in every Persona game. So that goes. For
I don't
4.
know. I feel like it is pretty good, but Persona 4 I think is my least favorite soundtrack.
And
I would
At
agree.
least Persona 3 is hilarious.
Let me add to that by saying I think Persona 4's soundtrack is one of the best game soundtracks out there. However, I think 3 and 5 do have a better soundtrack.
I don't know.
I kind
it's
of get
overrated.
that. And also, by the end of the game, Reach Out to the Truth. It's still a great song, but it was burned into my skull.
Which is why Golden and the way it makes Time to Make History and Reach Out to the Truth alternate is very good.
I will agree with that. And Time to Make History is also a bitchin' song.
Yes, it is amazing.
yeah,
and I love
that's fantastic.
One thing that I'm really kind of upset about, this is a really quick off-topic thing, but in BB Tag, they use like when a Persona 4 character uses their astral finish, they play like I believe it's a part of the mist or something.
Yeah, Mist.
Yeah, the part of Mist that plays. In Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, they play part of Time to Make History, and I think it works so much better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was really upset. It was a thing.
But I mean that's partially because Ultimax came out around the same time as Golden, and they're like, let's promote Golden and everything. And Marie was a DLC character, but
Yeah, I think the idea in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is that
Oh, man,
it's
don't even
specifically
get me
not the
started on
Ultimax game. They're doing
Yeah.
specific.
yeah,
So that's why they use the thing for that.
hmm
In fact, maybe in BB Tag Season 2 of DLC, they'll if they add, well, they'd have to add Ultimax characters at that point. Maybe then for those characters they'll have Time to Make History.
that'd be cool. I just want to see Junpei in BB Tag because he's hilarious in Ultimax. So, but the thing is that
Isn't he Leon?
Leon.
I mean, he's baseball boy, yeah. But anyway, back to Persona 4
Wait.
itself. Yeah.
Wait, who's the like Yosuke's like, who's the killer? Leon.
Junpei Ace Defective
Yeah.
is the killer.
Yeah. More like Stupe, Ace Defective. No, that's wrong.
And then Yukari becomes the first victim at the start of Persona 4.
Yeah. But then yeah, so along the same lines as the music, of course, nowhere near the levels of what P5 would achieve years later, but the aesthetic of P4 is still very nice.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know. Again,
I'll agree with that. I still
feel like
prefer
yes-
Persona 3's aesthetic and 5, but Persona 4 does have a very good.
Maybe it's just me. I really like the aesthetic of like the CRT television stuff, and I think it works
Yeah,
really.
that-
I
love that shit.
and I think it works really
Yeah.
well with the yellow. Like, because each of the, like, P3, 4, and 5 have, like, a main defining color. P3 is blue, 4 is yellow, and 5 is red, and I
Are
really
you
like
sure
it.
it's blue and not green?
No,
Well-
it's blue.
Well,
But actually, to add to that, Austin,
yeah.
I will say Persona 4's aesthetic is better than 3's. I just prefer the color blue more than I love the CRT stuff.
I mean, I like blue as a color overall more than yellow, too. I just like the aesthetic of P4 more. Because not only is it yellow and the CRT stuff, but there's also a lot of rainbow aesthetic and just stuff like that. And I just like the way everything's presented.
Yeah, again, I don't mean to be repeating myself, but I feel like a lot of this stuff, for me, a lot of Persona 4, I can just describe with nothing. So I don't really feel.
Yeah.
I don't feel Persona 4's aesthetic.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's probably a large in part to when I played it and what the game means to me, but just like even outside of that, it's inspired so much of like my style and things and all that, and no fucking shit, Persona 5 is an upgrade in all terms of aesthetic from P4, and it's like, even, it's crazy in terms, that game looks amazing, but just like going back to P4, I just really, the way it looks, the way it sounds, a lot of things about it, I just love it, personally.
Yeah.
Once more, I think it's, again, a matter of a lot of Persona 4, if you'll like it, just comes down to preference.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think it comes down to the syndrome where the first Persona game you play is your favorite.
It might be that.
Like because most people, like we were talking about this at one point when you were playing V3, Austin.
Or no, we were talking when I was playing 2, wasn't it? Or was it V3?
No.
Okay.
No, and you might have been playing 2. But it was kind of like how the first one you play kind of skews your opinion, because most people now, there's like this huge wave of people that are saying that Persona 4 is way worse and Persona 3 is better. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that people, in comparison, when Persona 4 was out and it was the newest one, people were always talking about 4 and 3 was kind of left to the back burner in comparison. And I think it's more of a thing where people, it matters which game you play, because not only do people who start with 4 like 4 more, and people who start with 3 like 3 more generally, but when people start with 5 now, they go and in comparison, 3 is very similar to 5, but 4 is a lot different. So it leads to, the first one you play manipulates the rest of your thoughts. People are like, yeah, I like 3, don't like 4. And that's why there's such a wave for it, because And like we were talking about that because in the same way that a lot of people really like Danganronpa 2, it's more of a, it's kind of hard to separate your bias when pretty much, even for me, like the first one that you play is just gonna like bias your view of the rest.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that for the most. The one thing that's like, I feel like P5, it probably is more similar to P3 in theme and certain things overall, but there's a lot of P4 and P5, like in terms of how the party's handled and like stuff like that. There's a lot of P4 that's in P5. Some of the aesthetic choices feels a bit more P3, but I feel like I can agree with most of it, where obviously it does depend on the first game you play and like what your personal preferences are, and often the first one you play will shape your preferences for what you want in a Persona game. But and that's the thing, like for instance, like if I had played P5 instead of P4 first, like around the same time, like theoretically if P5 came out around that time or something, then like yeah, I'd probably feel like similar, like yeah, P4 is all right, but whatever in that sense. Especially because P5 is such an upgrade from the other games in many ways. But, like, it's just a matter of my personal preference and, like, not only what I like in general before then, but also how I've experienced it. It was the first one. But at the same time, I still think there's a lot that's really good about the game. There's a lot that's not super good either. Like, hey, everybody, let's go around town and ask these random NPCs information about... let's ask everyone everything, all the things you already know.
And it turns out the gas station attendant was behind it all.
Yeah, and that, like, going around and asking the people for the things about, hey, what are these things about kanji that we don't know, despite, being able to deduct everything just by looking at him? What are these things about kanji, Like, those parts when you have to ask people about that can be pretty annoying, especially when it's like, you have to ask these specific people in these specific order and these days, and it's like, what? There's those segments, and the dungeons being randomly laid out, I mean, for the most part, sure, like, the layouts themselves are pretty basic, but, like, the aesthetics of each dungeon are pretty cool, if you're asking me.
What we all seem to be forgetting is that the line "Merble" is in Persona 4, so all arguments for 5 and 3 are invalid. Merble.
Yeah, but...
Yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of done when it comes to
You can also feed a small stray cat a literal water god fish.
Uh-huh. So I think we should, like, hurry up to final thoughts, unless someone else has something else to say.
Yeah, just before we wrap things up, just because I want to, I just want to, well, no, I guess we can move it on to final thoughts. There's not much else I wanted to say. I just wanted to sort of go on, like, the comparison, just, like, really quickly back to P3 compared to P4, because I know it's a big point of contention that I knew would be a big thing, especially with how this discussion is leading. I just, like, in terms of, like, the dungeons and stuff, I always felt Tartarus, while, like, cool in terms of concept, was very, like, at least if you're asking me, I like the whole music and how it progresses from the floors, but, like, its aesthetic gets kind of old after a while, and it feels very samey.
I will agree with that.
Whereas Persona 4, like, with the different dungeons, sure, are the dungeons layout anything special? Not necessarily, but the different aesthetics and, like, how they tie into the characters, it's cool. Fucking, what's his name? Mitsuo? His palace gets special mentions for just sort of being out there and wacky.
And for all of, like, the lines of, like, the 8-bit, like, oh, go out and buy coffee thing, being a reference to a very, very early on Atlus game.
Yeah, Mitsuo's palace gets some things. And, of course, the
Dragon Warrior, I think.
Yeah, Sylvia?
I also remembered another reason that I really don't like Rise is because she just says wrong things all of the time. Like, this guy killed all the people. Does that mean, in the level up things, does that mean he's getting No, it doesn't mean he's getting stronger. It's very clearly, to me, it's very clearly established that does not mean he's getting stronger.
Well, the thing is you gotta keep this in mind. Me and Zanza were talking about this while playing Danganronpa, but these characters aren't elite gamers like we are. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't understand. They haven't... Oh my god, wait a second. I just realized why Mitsuo is so powerful in Palace. It's because there's no glass.
There's no glass ceiling preventing him from rising up.
That is the real power of every gamer, even me. If only there was no glass ceiling, I could ascend just like Mitsuo.
Yeah.
I want to die.
But yeah, and of course...
I want to die, and the fact that I'm going to be doing the exact thing you are doing when I'm done playing Danganronpa 2 with you makes me want to die even more.
I know, right? It's awful. Komaida has taken over my life. For anyone on the podcast, really quickly, because I knew we'd be playing the Danganronpa games, all of them, for Game Library eventually, and I really enjoyed one, I've just been playing through all of them, and so now I've become indoctrinated in the Komaida memes, and it's really bad. Like,
and I'm gonna be just like these two.
Listen.
After I'm done playing the game.
Hajime.
Yep.
Hajime, listen. I turned myself into a pickle, Hajime.
I'm Pickle
Nagito.
Pickle, maybe we should rub our cocks together for fire.
Hey, that's my joke. I made that joke.
I know. Oh shit. Okay. I don't want to.
Oh
We'll save this for the Danganronpa 2 one. But there was that joke from the other days, Zanza, that you said that killed me. That we need to say on the podcast. Anyway, yeah, Sylvia?
I have had to deal with these two fucks spamming the game library chat.
I want my underwear
Sans
back,
memes,
Hajime.
Komaida memes, and Sans and Komaida memes.
Hey, I contribute to that, so you should really say 3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I have already grown a great hatred for Danganronpa 2, and I sincerely hope that it somehow manages to get itself out of the pit that this...
Oh, it won't.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it won't. It'll only make it worse, actually.
But really quickly before
there goes their final thoughts.
Before we go to our final thoughts for P4, I just wanted to ask a real quick question because I know it's like a big point that certain people bring up with Persona 4 specifically, because Persona 4 Atlus, it was really successful, so Atlus made a lot of spin-offs, animes, different games. Do you think that the spin-offs detract from the quality of P4 itself?
Yes.
No, because the original will always exist as its own thing. Spin-offs can't.
The original will
I agree
always
as well.
exist as its own thing, but it's the same aspect of why everybody hates Final Fantasy VII in Cloud at this point, because Square won't stop milking our nostalgia on the game, and have been since its release.
Dream, all I'll say is that if that's how you think about media, then the Danganronpa 3 anime, I won't say anything, but it might make you hate the.
Yeah. Again, I disagree. I personally don't feel like it does because you can view them separately from P4 and they're their own things. But I know that a lot of people are like, oh man, P4 got milked to hell. Look at this bad game got milked. But more so, I disagree, and I feel like I just wanted to bring it up.
They only released Persona 4. I mean, how did they milk Persona 4? They didn't release it again, did they?
I mean, they didn't release Persona 3 2 times either. Or 3 times overall, really. And they certainly aren't preparing to release Persona 5 a second time either. What are you talking about?
I'm just glad that Soji Seta didn't make it in Smash, but one of the other two.
Yeah.
I believe you mean Chad Zyodine.
Yeah, Yunarakami.
No, Soji Seta.
Anyway, just so we can wrap this up, because we've a little past 3 hours, and I think that's a good timestamp.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So, actually, before we do final thoughts, is there anything else you wanted to mention, Sylvia? Because I know we overpower you a lot in terms of, like, volume.
I hate all of you.
Sam.
Is there anything you want to say in terms of Persona 4? No? Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave Sylvia for her final thoughts, since she is, to do her final thoughts last, because she is the one who suggested Persona 4. But does anyone want to go before me, or should I go first?
I feel like Persona 4 as a game by itself is very, very good. If you aren't looking much for a story and are more so looking for individual moments and to have a good time with a fun game, I feel like it would be a very good game to play. And it really hits home all of the moments. It's a very enjoyable experience. If your preferences aren't in line with that, and you don't want that, and you want a more serious story with more progression, then I feel like it's not going to be your cup of tea for a very good game. And the game's quality depends heavily based on those preferences. If the preferences are in your favor, I say it's a 7 or 8. If they aren't, I'd say it's a 4 or a 5. I would probably give it middle of the road and give it a 6.
Zanza, do you want to go, or should I go?
Yeah,
Okay.
because mine's pretty short. Persona 4 is the slice of life anime of JRPGs. I don't have anything else to say on the matter, and that should be evident of what I thought. That I have nothing else to say, I feel.
Okay. As for me, I said it at the beginning of this podcast. I'll say it till the end of time or until I become a jaded old man. That Persona 4 is, whether it due to when I played it, the circumstances around it, like the fact that I hadn't played a game quite like it before, or the game's actual quality, which if you're asking me, I think there's plenty of actual quality. Obviously, it depends on who you're asking, I guess. But I think the game is great overall, and I love it. It's one of it, like, outside of the Smash Brothers games as a series overall, I've said it before, Persona 4 Golden is probably like my second favorite game ever. So, like, just in terms of an overall thing, I know that.
Damn, you gave your second favorite game ever an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I'm saying in terms of like actual, because again, I recognize the reason that it's my second favorite game of all time is largely due to my bias and when I played it.
So it's not the second best game you've played, it's your second favorite.
Yes, exactly. There's a very big distinction between best and favorite, where I feel like there are plenty of flaws in Persona 4 that can bring it down, whether it's to your preference or not, and depending on that, it can bring you down. But if you're asking me in terms of like my overall feelings and like how I love it, it's like a 10 out of 10. It's like one of my favorite things ever, and it shapes so much of like me and what I like in media and who I am and the things I strive to create in general. But if we're talking realistically in terms of a game overall, there are some flaws with it that you can look, whether it's being compared to previous or future installments or not. There are a couple of flaws where realistically, I'd give it an 8 or a 9, but probably an 8 or 8.5 overall. If I'm looking at it really realistically, if I'm trying to like remove all bias I have, but I'll never be able to do that, and I can't help but give it like a 10 in my book, but like realistically probably an 8.5 or like a 9. But like I love it that much.
Say unbiased, if it's to your preferences, like 8 is a very fair and 8 is a perfect score to give you.
Yeah, I'd say 8 or 8.5, maybe 9.
I agree with everything you said in your final thoughts on the second favorite. Mm-hmm. But and obviously, if I didn't like Persona 4, I wouldn't be as nearly good friends with Austin as I am. I just prefer Persona 3.
Yeah, and I mean, you can like Persona 3 more all you want. I have no problems with that. It's just, allow me to give my reasonings as to why I prefer Persona 4, and that's A-okay. Just don't shut me out for being a baby.
Yeah.
But
and again, I wasn't expecting to agree with, like, the majority of all of your, like, fuck, my brain just stopped working. I wasn't expecting to agree with the majority of all of your complaints with the game, as I was, but no, you gave it a very, very fair, very unbiased, like, rundown, and I agree with most of what.
Yeah, because, I mean, I could just say, it's a masterpiece, perfect, 10 out of 10, 11, give me more, I want to eat milk more, give me more milk, I want to drink more milk. But, like, if I'm really going to look at it, if I'm going to look at it realistically, it's probably closer to an 8 or an 8.5. I love the game so much, and I'm so happy that it was suggested for Game Library, but I'm surprised it came so soon, and now my second favorite game, which the others being Smash Brothers, which are really a weird game for Game Library, are already out of the way, so it's all downhill from here. On you, Sylvia?
Like I said, Persona 4 is one of the few games that made me think about myself, think about who I am, think about kinda who I want to be. I enjoyed my time with the game, and this as my gateway as my actual gateway into the Persona series. I have very good first impressions.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Regardless of whether you like P3 or P4 better, or if P5 is your first one, or if you're asking me, the entirety of P3 through 5, and I mean, of course, even the first P1 and P2 as well, but they're very different from P3 through 5. But the thing is, like, I'd say that the entire series is worth checking out. Like, I may have been making it out as if I dislike Persona 3 or something, but no, I love the game. I love it a lot. I prefer Persona 4, and I have various reasons as to why, and it just makes me mad. It just makes me mad when people completely shut out P4 without giving it a chance.
Regardless of how much you love or hate Persona 3 or Persona 4, the thing is, they're both early life PlayStation 2 games, so regardless of how you feel about them, there is a lot wrong with both.
Mm-hmm. And P5 fixes a lot of those things, so P5 is a very amazing game, and if I gave... Well, no, if we ever do P5, I won't give, like, my score for P5, but, like, because we might do it in the future, potentially, but, the thing is that P5 is an amazing game as well, and, it's just P4, it has a spot in my heart that I don't think anything else will ever be able to replace. Very similar to Hunter x Hunter for me, that both of those two things are very special to me, and I don't think anything will be able to replace them, so,
Yosuke is not immune to Poddle.
Yeah, Yosuke is not immune to Chipotle. So yeah, Sylvia, do you have anything else? Because I sort of took that over from you. I'm sorry.
Naoto Best Girl.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been thinking of dyeing my hair, but she may be the catalyst of what actually gets me to dye it.
Nice.
Oh man.
Dead honest.
Join me in the blue boy.
I'm still as useless a lesbian as ever.
Mm-hmm.
So Austin.
Yes.
It is your turn.
It is my turn. And
game
you see,
for next week.
Here's the thing. There are multiple games I want to suggest, obviously, but because we had Danganronpa and then P4, and those are both long as fuck games.
No. Austin, let me stop you there. I have 15 million games I want to suggest, and I don't know if I can wait another 5 episodes. Go ahead, suggest Danganronpa 2. Be my guest.
I wasn't gonna, because I want to suggest something else, because I thought DR2 was coming later with you. But the thing is that, for one, I don't want to do Danganronpa 2, mainly just because I have other things I want to suggest. And also, in terms of games that I have immediate access to right now, and also, because P4 is such a long-ass game, and it took a very long time between these previous 2 episodes of Game Library, and even before that, Danganronpa was a relatively long game comparatively to things we had done in the past, and there was already and there was a big hiatus with Metal Gear Solid. I figured I wanted to go with a game that definitely has a lot of content that you can chew off of, a game that I already know a game that I know if you want to zoom through it and get through it quickly, you can, and I still think is a fun time. And also, with the advent of Smash Brothers coming out, I figured it'd be interesting to go over another one of Sakurai's projects. So, Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh, sick! This actually gives me an excuse to finish it. Wonderful.
Oh boy. Austin, I think I might need you to mail that to me, and I can't wait till January. Because if we want to actually do that in a week rather than a month,
I don't think we'd be able to do it in a week. More so like 2, just based on circumstances. But like, the main thing is that like, yeah, I figured, especially with Smash hype being at its high right now with Ultimate coming out, we could look at another one of Sakurai's projects and another one of my favorite games. And it's a game where if you want to just go through it quickly, we can get it done pretty quickly. But there's also a lot of content to chew off if you really want to dig deeper. Just like a lot of Sakurai's games.
I am going to chew off of all of the content. So yeah, I'm going to need you to mail that to me if you actually.
Well, I'm going to need to finish my replay of it first. So. But the thing is that, I'm suggesting Kid Icarus Uprising, so there we go. That's next time. So.
Very interesting and left field, I will say.
Yeah, to be honest, I was like, oh, he's gonna...
Cool.
Wait, what were you saying, Zanza? Sorry, you got cut off.
Oh, I was like, oh yeah, he's just gonna do
He's gonna do No More Heroes? I'm guessing you got cut off again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I just thought, oh yeah, he's just gonna say No More Heroes.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah, nope. The main thing, I want to suggest No More Heroes definitely at some point, but the main thing is that Dream has my copy right now, and I want to replay through it again before we do it, because I want to be able to get fresh opinions on it, because it's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, and until I get a good mic, which probably won't be until after I meet up with Austin in January, I can't really play the game while talking to him, so I haven't been able to finish the first game because of that.
So yeah, that's the main. Like, I could talk about No More Heroes 2 right now, but like, I want to replay the first one at least, just to get memories on it, because it's been a while since that. But Kid Icarus Uprising is a game I've been meaning to replay for a while now anyway, and it's another one of my favorites. So let's go from P4 to another game I cherish very, very deeply. So yeah, that's next time. If you haven't played Kid Icarus Uprising before, first off, you should. It's one of the earlier games on the 3DS, and I still think one of the best ones. And you play it for the next episode. Should probably be in around a week to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks at most, depending on dream stuff.
I'd
and
say
how we can...
probably 4 weeks.
I don't know about. I mean, it depends.
4 weeks.
Yeah, I think it more so depends on when.
3 to 4.
It depends on when we.
No.
It depends on when I get the game to you. If you're gonna have to wait for me, because again, I want to finish my replay through again, because I'm in the middle of one right now, which is part of the reason why I also want to suggest it, because I was like, hey, I'm gonna suggest it. I'll start replaying it now. So I want to get through my playthrough again. And then I can send it to you, but I mean, if you're able to get it beforehand, that'd be better.
I will try to get it before you lend me your copy. I will make no promises, though. So yeah, I'd probably say like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how long it takes your replay.
Well, we'll work it out. But anyways, other than that, I believe that is the end of this episode of the Game Library Burger.
It was
had
delicious.
to go and remind me of that, didn't?
Well, yeah, at least I haven't made any Sans jokes yet.
You said his name! You did it! You ruined it, Hajime.
I want my underwear back, Hajime.
Hajime. Who's the killer, Hajime? And it, like, has a text box, like a Danganronpa text box, but all 4 options are Leon.
Well, no, it's who's the killer, Hajime, and then it's that segment where you have to pick between all of the NPCs in Persona 4, and you pick Nanako, and then she's the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, any
All right, bye.
last words? Just bye? Okay.
I still think my favorite thing about choosing Nanako, though, is like it doesn't give you any reasoning as
The first line is that even possible?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, no, not even that. My favorite thing isn't the fact that it discounts it because it's Nanako. The game says it's not possible because she couldn't pick up the bodies, as though if she had the ability to, she would have been the killer.
Yes. Anyways, thank you and good night, everybody, and get ready for some Fried Angel next time.
Yeah, in 2 or 3
boy.
weeks, hopefully.
I never learned how to read.
Oh shit, that's
Then
gonna
what's
really
the
hurt.
point of doing anything?